Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the true north. This is your good friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always my co-host, the one, the only King, Ucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Glad everybody could be on board for this one, fellas. Really glad to have you on board. Let me tell you something. The ongoing saga between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, there's a glimmer of hope here that this whole mess can be put aside and we get Fury Joshua happening. But then again, I got something of an opinion here that might surprise people. We're also going to be hearing from Bucho and from everybody else, but the most important thing is that this is another open phone lines Friday, meaning you get to call in. This is your show. We're going to put up a StreamYard link. Actually, I already put the StreamYard link. I'm going to be putting up the phone number soon. I'm going to take it off the screen right now because I haven't opened up the phone lines yet, but you call in, StreamYard, phone lines. Let us know what you think. Do you want to see a Wilder Fury rematch? Does Fury have a good reason why he doesn't or shouldn't fight Wilder a third time? Let us know what you think. I'm very excited. We're very excited to hear what you got to say about that. Before we get to that though, let's get the business out of the way. Fellas, you know the drill. If you want to keep the gravy train rolling, you can certainly do so by contributing a couple of shekels via the Super Chat feature during the show. Or you can head on over to the PayPal or Patreon page, scamper on over there, give us a couple of donations. Really helps us out. Small donations, doesn't have to be like $5-10, could be $1-2. Everybody donates. If everybody actually donated $5, we could make some really great things happen. But of course, the most important thing is you continue to hit the thumbs up button and subscribing if you haven't done so already. Just generally spreading the BDA gospel. And of course, you can't forget the BDA merch. Fantastic BDA merch designed by Bucho and Fabrizio. Look at those crazy designs, man. Those are some cool designs, man. I got coffee mugs here. It's just a couple of dots or something. No, these ones look fantastic, man. Great to look at, even if you're not drinking anything. And if you're an alcoholic, you can put alcohol there and pretend you're drinking coffee. And people will be none the wiser. And once we get down to selling the BDA mints, forget about it. You're going to be able to hide that breath and you'll be on your way to the next evolution. All right, like I said, phone lines are going to be open soon. The StreamYard link, I believe I already put it up, and we're going to get to that as well. Of course, if anybody on the Discord wants to jump on as well, fantastic. But like I keep saying, open phone lines Friday. This is your show. Call in, and the subject at hand is the whole Fury Wilder situation, and we're going to get to that. Before we do that, though, shout out to everybody in the chat room, and I hope some of you guys call in. I want to hear from some new people too, not just from the chat. Shout out to Iceman, Drownman, Jimmy D. Giles, SSB28, Brandon White, Lance Meyer, Ignorant Boxing, Adam UK, Virtuoso, Elias Tufexis, DJ N1, Elvis ECL, Rob, The Logical Man, Rob, BOKS, Box, of course, Sock Account, Lobito, aka Gonzalo, Kid Top Skull, Hulker Mustang, Mr. E, and many more people to come, I am sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. And, all right, Bucho, let me just put this article here real quick, and then I want you to sound off on this, because you're the guy you're the resident expert, BDA correspondent when it comes to Fury Wilder. So Aram says that Fury told me he will never fight Wilder for a third time. Following the rematch, Wilder exercised an immediate rematch clause. That was after the first fight. Then you guys know the drill. There was, Fury beat Wilder. Then Wilder came up with accusations. He fired his trainer. Right now they're in mediation. Some people are speculating that there's no such thing as a lawsuit coming up. So Bob Arum said, listen, there's no mediation. I mean, there has been over Christmas and New Year, there was mediation. But I don't know, maybe the media will be able to solve the situation. But we got a problem because Tyson Fury has said to me and to the mediator, not today, not tomorrow, not ever. That's a quote from Bob Arum right there, supposedly quoting Tyson Fury. So it's a bit of a, what do they call that? Arab telephone? Well, here in Canada, there's that game Arab telephone where the message gets distorted the more people relay it. Fury, says Aram, regards it not only as a slur, but against the Gypsy Nation, because apparently Wilder said some things about cheating, and Fury took it to mean as a slight towards the Irish travelers or whatever they're called. So again, there's a whole lot of facets, a lot of interested parties in this whole thing. By the way, shout out to One Foot Out the Door, who donated the super chat. He says the truth shall set us free from the biases. Well, I certainly hope so, One Foot. And the only way, one of the big ways we can do that is trusting in the Lord and following his and obeying his law. So shout out to One Foot Out the Door for his contribution. Bucho, you're the resident BDA correspondent when it comes to Wilder Fury. You're the one that crafted those fantastic videos, just showing us how these Wilder supporters expose themselves with a lot of their shenanigans and their conspiracy theories. So what's going on now? Is there indeed a valid reason for Fury to fight Wilder, or what's going on? Break it down for us.
Did you finish? Did you get to the point in the article where it says that Eddie Hearn, I think it's Eddie Hearn, who believes that Deontay Wilder just trying to get that third fight because he wants to cash out?
I don't see that in this article from Boxing Scene.
Oh, it's I read it, I think, from The Zone.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, it doesn't matter. Listen, Tyson Fury, according to Bob Arum, doesn't even want to fight Deontay Wilder anymore because he was insulted, right? Deontay Wilder keeps claiming that Tyson Fury cheated, although he doesn't even really explain how. And I think Tyson Fury he got fed up with these accusations, and now he's like, you know what? I'm not giving you that fucking third fight. And that's what. Listen, nobody wants to see that third fight. The only people who want to see this third fight is the Wilder fans. To be honest, I don't even think Wilder wants a third fight, or else he would have immediately taken that rematch, that third fight. But he waited. He waited on purpose. All right, so that third fight would expire. So this guy's clearly insane. There's no point in trying to understand what he's thinking. But his fans, they're the worst because they're following a madman. All right, they're following a guy who has lost everything in Deontay Wilder, including his mind, and that's what's the most amazing thing happening right now. The fans, the Wilder fans.
So you're saying that Wilder has completely lost his mind and that he doesn't. You believe the Eddie Hearn line?
He doesn't want a third fight. This mediation shit is bullshit. There is no third. This is we're just wasting time here. And Tyson Fury knows this. I mean, he knows about mental illness. He knows Wilder has lost his fucking mind. He was probably in almost the same psychological state. And he's like, okay, you know what, man? I'm not fighting this guy again. I have an AJ fight coming up where I can unify all the titles. A lot of money. Why fight Wilder again? There's no point, and Wilder doesn't even want that fight.
Would you? Okay,
Fury's doing Wilder a favor, but not fighting him because he's gonna fuck him up again.
When you say Wilder doesn't want the third fight, that doesn't necessarily mean that he's scared, right?
He's scared. I'll say he's scared. Like he's gonna get destroyed again.
I don't know if he's scared.
He knows he can win the fight. But this because we have to understand this Deontay Wilder that we're seeing right now. He's not even conscious of what he's saying, right? Unconsciously, he doesn't want to fight. Let me just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
He's unconscious, doesn't want to fight. That's why he waited so long, and now he's talking shit. But he knows that the fight cannot be made, or it's very unlikely that it's gonna be made. Why would he be saying that he got hit with an egg-shaped, like one of those weights, and that his water was spiked? Why did he fire Mike Breland? This guy's out of his fucking mind.
Again, I don't know if I'm always hesitant to say that a fighter is scared because I don't think if we're gonna talk about fear, I don't think it's fear as much as I'm scared of this guy. But it's almost like there's doubts because, like you said, everything he's saying is a way, or appears to be a way. All these excuses appear to be a way to cope with the fact that he was so thoroughly manhandled and outboxed. And I mean, it's just everything. Everything was against him apparently. The shots behind the head, the gloves, the suit, the lasers in the eyes. Although he didn't actually say that, but his fans mostly, they're the ones that are saying that. I mean, that to me is the thing that seems to me that he's under confident. Like he's hesitant about this fight for sure. Now, Babucho, I gotta ask you something too, because this thing never seems to end. The ride. I mean, we saw what happened there with that those LDBC guys threatening Sugar Hill on the air, and like Recognize the Matrix has a couple of theories about that, like why those people would actually be willing to do that on the air. But anyway, the point is, are you surprised that almost a year after the Fury Wilder rematch, that this is still going on, that we're still talking about whether they're going to fight or not?
Yeah, I'm surprised. Well, who's talking about that fight? No, like the only people who are mentioning this supposedly third fight. Anyways, it's Wilder and his fans. Nobody else is mentioning this fight. Actually, most of us have moved on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's. I didn't even want to do this shoot today, but it was just something. I mean, it's open phone lines Friday, so we have to do something. Right. And I said it's a big news. By the way, we got Jet Kyle on the stream. Your Jet, are you there?
Yeah, how you going, lads? Good.
Yeah, good. Yo, did you call in drunk last Friday, man?
Nah. I don't even know if I didn't talk on last Friday's show.
Yeah, but somebody dropped in with your photograph and they were saying the N-word. So I didn't know. I mean, you're Australian, no disrespect, but you Aussies, it's a different time zone over there. And I think we all know, you guys like to partake in the drink over there, if you know what I mean.
Nah, it could be someone using my picture. I can't remember. I called it here once a few weeks ago, but that's all I remember.
That would be impossible to take somebody else's picture. I've never heard of that. No, but seriously, what do you think? We're talking about Wilder Fury here. They're talking about what do you think about this whole thing? Has it become a circus? Or okay, first of all, let me ask you this: from a different perspective, why not see a third fight?
No, you're not going to hear that from me because this is great news. Fuck this fight, Fury's already beat him twice, so this is great news. I mean, when I saw your show, I was ecstatic because there's no need for this third fight. Fury's beat him twice. I mean, he beat him probably 9 or 10 rounds. Probably won in the first fight, and then the second fight I had him winning every round. That was just a one-sided beatdown from the start. So, I think it's great that this third fight's finished. Fuck this fight.
But here's the thing, though. Let me ask you your opinion on this, because I want to hear what people are saying about this. Fury said, according to Bob Arum, that Fury doesn't want to give Wilder a rubber match because of the things that have been said and the accusations that have been thrown around. My question is, why not? If Fury feels insulted, why not take that fight, beat him up, make some money, and put a conclusion to this whole thing?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't like that excuse either. Like that's a stupid excuse. Oh, he's talking shit about me, so I feel insulted. I don't feel I should fight him. That's a lame excuse. But whatever it is, I'm just glad it's not happening. But I mean, that's not a good excuse. I mean, if you really don't like someone, you should get in there and beat them up. Like it's like how Lopez is saying, "Oh, I don't want to fight Lomachenko because he's talking bad about me." That's ridiculous. But so that is a ridiculous excuse. But I just don't care because I'm just happy this fight ain't happening. I want to see Fury Joshua for undisputed. And Wilder's been outclassed twice by Fury, so let's just forget this. Move on.
Butcher, what do you think about the question I asked? I mean, why not see a third? Like this whole thing about, well, he said this, he hurt my feelings, so I don't want to fight him again. Do you think that's
because we don't have time for this? We don't have time for a third fight. We saw a second fight. The reason why we had a second fight was because the first fight was somewhat controversial, right? So we had the second fight,
right? And
in that second fight, Fury destroyed Wilder, all right? And then they were fighting over the WBC belt, all right? And there's this other guy called Anthony Joshua who has 3 belts.
Who?
Now it's time to unify the division. Let's not waste our time. There's also Alexander Usyk that's in there. He has the right to fight the WBO champion, who is Joshua. There's a lot of fighters coming up. We don't have time for this Wilder bullshit. All right.
Let me turn it around.
Exactly. Fury answered all questions. Fury answered all questions in that rematch. This thing's finished to me. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let me turn it around for you, Bucho. Wouldn't you like to see a third fight just for the material that it's going to give you?
No, you know what? This material, people think I enjoyed making these videos. It was actually quite painful going through all these LGBTC channels and finding clips. I'm not doing that ever again. I have 56 minutes of just bullshit excuses. So no, it wasn't fun, and I don't want to do it again.
All right, well there you have it. Bucho doesn't want to go through that again. You know what? I wouldn't mind seeing the third fight for a couple of reasons. number one, I don't think the Fury Joshua fight will be that exciting. Although it is for all the marbles supposedly, and we finally get to see who the real dog is in the heavyweight division. Fury Wilder, Wilder is still pretty quick. He still hits hard, and there's a couple scenarios that could go on. Fury beats Wilder up, and his fans try to grasp for more excuses as to why Fury won. Or B, it becomes an interesting, more competitive fight, and we get a great fight. Or we get to see Fury knock the fuck out. And then we see Wilder taking on on Joshua, which would be a more entertaining fight. Or maybe a fucking fourth Fury Wilder fight. You never know.
No,
but yeah, I know. I'm just saying though, I'm not against the third fight, and this excuse of, well, he said this bad about me, so I don't want to fight him a third time. Like you guys said, I don't get that. Fighters used to fight.
No, he's just saying that, but he knows that he needs to fight AJ next. He wants that AJ fight. I'm talking about Tyson Fury. So that's it, man. He doesn't have to say anything.
By the way, fellas, the phone lines are open. Don't forget, and I'm also putting up a StreamYard link. So you guys this is mostly for outside of North American callers. So if you're outside of North America, you can do it via the StreamYard, or if you're within North America, you can call in and give us your opinion on this ongoing case. Almost a year since the second fight, and we're still talking about this fight. When it comes to the Fury Wilder thing, I'm hearing some people say in certain message boards and all that, oh well, I don't want to see it because Wilder is done. He may well be, but have we seen any? He hasn't. None of those guys, neither Fury nor Wilder, has fought since their second fight. So what are people basing this whole thing about Wilder being finished? And is it an assumption? Do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think he really is finished? And
I think they're going off just the way he's been acting mentally. But I mean, like you said, it's hard to say. I mean, we're not going to know if he's done until he gets in the ring again. But I think they're just basing that on the way the excuses, the delusional thinking, the way his team's even melt down. But we're not going to know that until he gets in the ring for sure to see where he's at in his career.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got D Jefferson on the StreamYard, and the StreamYard right now it's really. We'll try to keep it for outside North American callers. I'm gonna get people on Discord later, but I'm trying to get different people to call in to give them a chance to talk about this. But D, what do you think about this?
I just sent you a message in Discord. Go ahead, though. Go ahead.
What this whole thing, Fury Wilder thing? It's gonna be a year next month that we're still talking about this. Are they gonna fight? They're not gonna fight. They're mediating. This guy said this about me. This guy. Are you getting a little tired of this whole saga?
Yo, man, I just think it's silly. What's up, Iceman? I think it's silly because at the end of the day, if they're in court over the mediation or whatever, what the hell can Wilder really do? Like, Fury says he's not fighting him, so at that point it becomes a civil matter. It's not like the WBC can step in and strip him or anything. It's not a order or mandatory or anything like that. It's a contractual agreement between him and Bob Arum and freaking, it's between them. So if Fury doesn't fight him, he don't fight you, sue him for breach of contract and move the fuck on, or don't. Go fight somebody and do something with yourself. I mean, it's really nothing more to talk about. I think Fury's side is cleaned up, and the only thing to really wait on is see what happens with Usyk. But to continue to talk about Wilder and that situation, I mean, it's dead. It's a dead situation to me.
Bucho, are you tired of this whole thing as well? Bucho, are you there? All right, he's not there. Listen, I'm going to take the opportunity then to talk about this article here. Well, it's more of a blog post here from Boxing 24, but I'm interested in the comments more than anything, because I mean, you're really getting to glimpse to what people are thinking, and some of the things that I read on there make me scratch my head in disbelief and go, are we living in the same universe here? For example, this guy here says Fury is terrified and will run like he always does. Fury has to face his greatest fear and get knocked the fuck out for good. Mao. So
fucking hell.
Why do people call boxing running? Like, I mean, come on, bro. Like, if he's
Yeah, but he didn't even run the second fight. He walked him down the whole time. He
right.
Yeah,
walked Wilder
the
down the whole
second fight
second
he was
fight.
flicking a jab and moving. The first fight, I guess you could make some sort of argument that he wasn't really engaging Wilder, but the second fight, come on, he destroyed
Yeah.
him. In the
He walked him
second
down the
fight.
whole time, pushed him back.
Yeah, because that's what I'm getting at from these comments here. It's like some people are trying to. It all depends on how you look at things in the world, and some people they already have their viewpoint, and no matter what happens, they will try to make it conform to their viewpoint. So, for example, here's another quote here from somebody in the message board. It says, "As much as I think Fury." No, hold on a second. Where is it? Fuck. Hold on. This. Okay, yeah. Well, this guy is actually he brings up a good point. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. He says, as much as I think Fury's in the right here in not wanting to fight a third time, the guy does seem to exhibit a pattern. He's able to get super fired up when there's a new challenge in front of him, but less keen to do things like defenses and rematches. He seems to get bored rather easily. Does the guy bring up a fair point?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. He definitely does. You saw after the Klitschko fight, he just completely spiraled out of control. I mean, we didn't even see him for 3 years. He went up to 150 kilos or something. And then even after the first Wilder fight, he fought a couple of nobodies, Schwartz and another nothing opponent. So he definitely has a point, whoever wrote that comment.
Anyone else have is Tyson Fury a guy that's into novelty and not too much on tradition? What do you guys think? All right, D's choking there. D,
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, D? You all right,
Jesus
lad?
Christ.
are you alright, D?
You all right, bro?
D, you okay, man?
Being choked by the force.
No, I think he's
Fuck,
okay.
imagine you
That's-
imagine choking to death on,
Yeah,
on
good. I got
BDA
some
podcast.
But
Mr. BDA, the phone line's
yeah.
open?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Actually, you know what? Real quick, because I'm trying to get to a fucking.
I couldn't hear the question because I was coughing.
What is Tyson Fury the type of guy? Because you got two type of pound for pound fighters: the guys that try to make as many defenses as possible
Man,
in one division.
StreamYard is messing up, man.
What do you mean? Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you fine, BDA. I can hear you fine, but
Yeah,
he must be
D,
having problems.
D, I think it's your. You know what, D? I'm gonna start sending invites on Discord soon. So,
BDA.
yeah. He can't. Okay, D. I don't know for some reason.
The BDA hit me in Discord. This StreamYard messing up, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay, I'm gonna do that. All right. Before
Yeah,
we do that,
I could hear you and him fine. It must be his StreamYard.
real
His
quick,
monkey ass.
real quick. Let's get to the phone lines here. 915. You're on the air. 915. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you,
Yes.
man. What's on your mind, my friend?
Fuck Wilder.
Oh, listen, that type of language.
Mike.
Yeah, go ahead. he hung up. That's all he wanted to say.
That's all he said. Fuck
That's all
Wilder.
he said. I mean, my goodness gracious. All right, guys, don't forget. Listen, phone lines are open. Call in. We also have a StreamYard link. I want to hear from you guys. This is your show, man. Tell me, are you tired of this? Yeah, go ahead. All right. Well, listen, I want to hear from you fellas, man. Are you tired of this whole Wilder thing? Fury, Wilder 3. Is it enough? Do you even care about this? Do you even care about the heavyweight division? Because, I mean, Bucho, let me ask you this. Because I never, and I'm going to send some Discord links at the same time while you're answering. But are you even excited to see Joshua Fury? Like, do you think it's going to be an aesthetically pleasing fight?
Joshua against Fury. I mean, I've played multiple scenarios in my head. The most likely scenario is no. It's not going to be pleasing, but there's going to be moments of like suspense. And, you know, it's a closer fight, though, than I think that Fury's just going to go in there and destroy AJ. I think it's going to be a closer fight, guys. Just because of AJ's counter-punching abilities. He has more tools. So yeah, that's why I'm a little bit interested. The fight is going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. I just want to see a unification fight.
All right, so there you go, Bucho. Not Jed. I'll ask you the same question. Fury Joshua, are you excited? Would you get excited for that fight? Like, is that giving you a hard on right now?
I don't know about hard on, but I am a bit excited just for the fact it's undisputed. But I actually do think it'll be a good fight because Joshua can handle himself better on the inside than Wilder. So Fury won't. So that'll be more competitive. And even when if Fury boxes at range, I don't think he's got the power to keep Joshua off him. So I think a lot of that fight will be fought up close and on the ropes. And I think it will actually be a pretty entertaining fight. I think it will be a good fight.
Yeah, that's why I'm a little bit interested. The fight's gonna be interesting.
Who the fuck's talking now? What the fuck?
Butcho, that was Butcho then, I think.
What? He sounds muffled. Bucho, go ahead and speak.
No, that's not me. That's not me. I don't know who the fuck that was.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Oh,
Where did that voice come from?
Poltergeist or something.
What the?
Sounds like the poltergeist in the back.
I'm getting freaked out over here. All right, listen.
Fuck, I thought it was Butcho.
No, it's not Bucho. I don't know who that was. Anyway, listen. I'm opening up the Discord invites here, but the phone lines are still open, as is the StreamYard link for outside the North American college. All right, we got Pete, we got Gonzalo, we got D back on the Discord. Fellas, I'm gonna start with Pete here. Pete, the Joshua Fury fight. Are you even excited for that one? Like, does it titillate your senses or? All right, Pete's MIA. I'll ask the same question to Gonzalo. Gonzalo, what about?
I'm here. I'm sorry. I didn't hear you talking to me. I was just staying on mute like a good boy. Hey, did Mark Breland spike Bucho's wire tonight or what?
No, he has
You sound a
not.
little faded. You sound a little faded, Bucho.
He put some heroin in his water.
That's right. So Meg
My
waits
water
too.
was spiked. I
Pete,
blame Mark Breland or something. Okay.
we're talking about the Wilder Fury saga. It's still ongoing. There's some mediation, but that doesn't. From what you've heard, Pete, this whole mediation thing, that doesn't mean that there's going to be an enforcement of a third fight, right? It just means they're talking about how to patch things through.
Yeah, it sounds to me like there's a clause in the contract that a mediation clause. It's not going to be. Give me a minute.
All right, we seem to be having issues here tonight, but let's go to Gonzalo. Gonzalo, would you want to see why not see a third fight between Wilder and Fury? Is it because of the potential Fury Joshua fight, or would you rather see Fury and Wilder just third fight and then resolve the whole thing, and then we can move on to other fights?
Sure, I like to watch it, but it seems that they're getting farther away from that, and it's more likely that Fury Joshua's going to happen. I mean, the guy talks crazy, and the definition of insanity is to keep doing and saying things, expecting different results, right? He keeps talking, he cheated, he did this. So people obviously are not crazy and they're not paying attention. So they're going to move away from it, because if you do keep listening to that, like them psycho fans that he got, those are the ones that are believing and are wanting for things to go their way. But really, in reality, like normal people, man, they're not gonna pay attention to that shit. They're not gonna follow that narrative. They might think that they're winning the battle as far as that's concerned, but really, it's gone boring. So I would just rather move on. I would be interested in watching the fight if it was really gonna happen. I'm not interested in he said she said Deontay Wilder said shenanigans. I want to see the fight, but if they're gonna keep talking, I'd rather just move on to the next.
All right, that's an interesting and valid point right there. I think most of us are fatigued of it. I'm surprised Bucho even showed up tonight, because I mean he's been following this saga since it started, and I would be out of my mind trying to follow this. D, let me ask you this question. Let's say you're Tyson Fury. Put yourself in his shoes, and Wilder has thrown, and his fans have thrown out all these accusations at you. As a man, would you want to fight the guy a third time, knowing that you already trashed him the second time, and say, you know what, let me just give this guy another lesson, and then let's see what he has to say? Like, what would you do in Fury's shoes?
Look, it depends. It really depends, and I'm serious. Like 20, me in my 20s, I would have just wanted to beat the shit out of him for disrespecting me, because I would have felt disrespected. At this age now, I actually would do what Fury did. Now, I wouldn't be all that emotional about it. I will never get in the ring because of what he said and gypsies and all of that. I would just be more on the level of, man, look, he can't even take a loss like a man. I'm done with that. It took forever for them to, you know, get this contract thing situated. It shouldn't even have went to mediation. Why didn't they just sign the damn contract a long time ago? So on Fury's behalf, it's like he's got this big fight ahead of him. Fuck that fight. So that's how I would be about it. Like, fuck that fight. Do I want to see it? Yeah. I want to see him rattle Wilder's head around the ring again. He can't beat Tyson Fury. I would love to see him get beat up again. You know? But at the same token, who cares? It's a bigger fight ahead.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, that's a good point. Like, I would like to see that fight too, just to see Fury destroy Wilder again. But like I mentioned before, we have a unification fight with Joshua. There's Alexander Usyk in the division. There's Joe Joyce. I mean, let's get those fights happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, more important things in the heavyweight division than this meaningless fucking stupid third fight. Like D said, fuck this fight.
Now, I listen, I want to hear you guys' points of views and everything, and I respect them, but this type of cursing, it's got to stop. What's the matter with you fellas? I know it's Friday and everything, but come on.
I know the trash fucking miles got to stop. What the fuck, fella?
Hey, oh.
Sorry, BDA. Sorry, I'll watch what I fucking say.
Blow your father with that mouth?
All right, listen, fellas. We've got a... Okay, now, we got that Joshua fight. That's the factor here. Because if it wasn't from the Joshua fight, people will be like, yeah, all right, let's see the third fight again. But like you guys said, the fact that there's a Joshua fight out there, that's what is making people go, you know what? Screw that fight. Here's another comment here.
Screw it.
Yeah, somebody says here, scared is the word. There is a pattern. Wallin never got a rematch either. So there's this guy in the comment section. He's saying that Wilder, that there's a pattern to Fury not giving rematches, and that he's scared.
Let me get on that one first. Mm-hmm. Listen here, whoever said that, I got a special word for you. You idiot. Let me tell you something, man. Yeah. This dude takes on the guys that pretty much nobody want to take on. I don't really care if he does it in between. You know, yeah. But Klitschko, a lot of people didn't want to fight him. Fury fought him. Wilder, a lot of people didn't want to fight him. Fury fought him. Joshua, a lot of people don't want to fight him. Fury gonna fight him. These are all the guys who was considered the best guys. You cannot say a fighter, a champion, that only really wants to fight the best guys. Is scared of anyone, and I will say it again. You idiot.
Oh, what did I say about the language? By the way, shout out to Chad Collins, who donated with the super chat. He says, Fury doesn't need Wilder. He already beat him twice. We need Fury versus Joshua for all the heavyweight marbles. Good evening, BDA and Chad. All right, shout out to Chad Collins for his contribution. Yeah, in that regard about Fury being scared, Pete, what do you think about that, and what did you said?
No, none of these guys are scared, man. There's nothing to be scared about. Listen, the third fight can happen. I think the third fight will happen eventually, but I don't understand the push. I'm not even talking to Wilder because you idiot. The guy that you know, a guy that talks like Wilder. He's not a guy you're going to explain anything to. But I'm just talking to his fans. Like, the third fight will happen. My prediction, because the money will be there. I mean, at some point in time, it will be appropriate. But what's the push for this thing to happen? Like, what do you want to do? Just have them keep fighting until they're both satisfied? Like, what is this shit? I mean, what trilogy? There's been some good trilogies, but when have they ever been consecutive? I can't think of any consecutive trilogies. Can anybody think of a? I don't know, like
Gatti Ward,
Pacquiao Marquez, or
Gatti Ward, and Vasquez Marquez. They did them pretty.
Gatti Ward was consecutive.
Even Pacquiao Marquez was over a few years. Like that took about three.
Okay, but wait, but hold on now. That wasn't consecutive either, though. Marquez Pacquiao wasn't consecutive. Was Ward Gatti really consecutive?
Yeah, it was
back to back.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, 2001, 2002.
2002. It was 2002 till 2003, and Vasquez versus Marquez was 2007 to 2008, I believe. So I mean,
okay. Let me just ask you about. I mean, I'm sure, like I said, that's why I'm asking the question. I'm not saying it can't happen or it never has, but like, So if I'm remembering correctly, Gatti Ward was that Ward's last fight?
Yes, those were his three last fights. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, like, if a guy is basically on the way out, like I assume Ward was, I mean, maybe he's gonna hang it up and he brings it back for a third one, but that's a little different than this. I'm talking about like the trilogies that are mid-career. Both of these guys are mid-career. I don't think Wilder's done. Why should he be done? He when is any trilogy when these fighters are in the middle of their careers? When have they ever been consecutive? I mean, why should you keep holding this up?
I get your point. That's a good point. And the problem is, though, if I'm Wilder, let's say Wilder really wants a third fight, because I don't think he's scared either. I just think he's in a low place right now, but I don't necessarily think he's shaking his boots. But let's say he wants a third fight. He should be worried because you never know what's going to happen with Fury, man. I mean, this guy might drop out of the game at any time. By the way, before we continue, real quick, because this is Open Phone Lines Friday, we got a phone call. Let's go to 612. You're on the air. 612. What's on your mind?
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Barely, man. Can you please, when you call in the air, please try to speak up so that we can really hear. And Jed, could you please mute your mic, man? Guys, remember, if you're not going to speak, mute your mics, because otherwise that also distorts the calls. Thank you, guys. All right, go ahead, caller. What's on your mind?
Am I still back? Am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, happy Friday, guys. There are two guys I despise in boxing. One is Jared Big Baby Miller, and the other one is Deontay the Bronze Beggar Wilder.
Oh, come on.
Finally, it's come out that the mediation was all for it was more for a pay dispute than a third fight. That's the latest from the mediation. And the second thing is, I did have some respect for Wilder because he took up boxing to help his kid get his kid treated. But after this second fight and the excuses he made, starting with the costume and then going all the way to blaming his coach, I've lost all respect for Wilder. I think he's going to have a Malik Scott type of fight to come back, and then probably Andy Ruiz, and maybe sometime down the line he might have a Tyson Fury fight.
So
that's
are
my
you
opinion.
Caller? Are you you dislike Wilder personally? Not just you don't. It's because there's a bunch of groups out there, and mainly some people don't respect his boxing skills, and then there's the people that really dislike Wilder. Why do you dislike Wilder?
Oh, I started disliking Wilder after the second Tyson Fury fight. I mean, I didn't really hate him, but after the kind of excuses he brought after the second fight, I mean, it's just become despicable. Like, why do you have to throw the only person who knew boxing in your camp under the bus?
Yeah, nobody really likes a sore loser. Then again, there's another school of thought, which is show me a good loser and I'll show you a loser. So some people actually say, well, it's better to have a loser that complains than a guy that just accepts it. But I mean, I don't know. It's just, I'm of the Christian mentality of you take your lumps and you wait for the next day. But caller, so I'm guessing you don't want to see a third Wilder Fury fight.
I mean, it's unless Wilder completely goes to boxing school, I don't see a big change. Somehow Tyson Fury is going to box him out again. He's either going to dance around him or he's going to break his pace again. That's another thing. And Joshua is definitely going to break his pace. There's no doubt about that. He always has that right hand. I won't deny that he has got the best right hand, but other than that, I was just watching his fights. Most of the fights that he had, he was losing on points. Even against Gerald Washington, he was losing that fight, and he just.
The boxing.
I mean, I didn't have any great respect for.
You sound like
Wilder
Angel.
anyways,
Go ahead, Cole.
Just that I started hating him after this series of excuses. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I get why people would dislike the guy. But listen, I think he makes for at least an exciting division with his antics and with his punching power. So listen, caller, we got to move on. But thank you for calling in, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, man?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in, man. Always a pleasure. Don't forget, guys, to call in. And if you're outside of North America, you can always join us via StreamYard. I got the link there. We got a couple of people on StreamYard. We got Guerrero de la Info who just dropped by. Also on Discord, I got Recognize the Matrix. Recognize, we're talking about this Wilder Fury saga ongoing. Wilder still wants, he says he wants a third fighter mediating, which who knows what that's going to lead to. Fury now saying he doesn't want the fight because Wilder said bad things about him. What do you think about that, Recognize? Like, why shouldn't Fury say, you know what, let me take the chance to whip this guy's ass again?
Yeah, I would like to see that. I'd like for him to go in there and whip his ass again. But maybe he's like, fuck him. Let him dwell on this for another year, because it's obviously killing him, right?
Mm-hmm.
It seems that way. I mean, I kind of appreciate the passion that he has in terms of like how fucking butthurt he is, but the excuses and all that shit, he's just making himself look bad. I'll make him suffer if it was me.
Then again, I asked the same question to everybody else, and they made a good point. There is a potential Joshua fight out there. Supposedly, by the way, I forgot to say that in that boxing scene article that I was citing, Bob Arum says that they have an idea of where they want to make the fight, and that they're possibly June. So they seem to be working hard on trying to make that Fury Joshua fight. So the argument from people is that, well, look, if he's got the Joshua fight lined up, screw a third Wilder fight. Make him win.
That's the main point. I mean, he's got a much bigger payday. He's got a much bigger fight. He's got a every other champion who, I mean, what do you want to do? Just turn around and get like challenged into a fucking third fight? How about a fourth fight? You can't, you don't expect the guy just to shut Wilder up to keep fighting him. I mean,
Jim, Pete, a chance to make history as well.
Yeah, a chance to make history too, but I don't know that. I'm just assessing Tyson Fury. I don't know that he's like looking. It's just the normal progression of things is to who else has got the belt. Okay, there's AJ's out there. That fight can be made. What's he going to do? Go back into a Wilder fight and maybe win, maybe lose, maybe win, but get hurt? I mean, that's not the way this works. I don't understand why anybody thinks this is. I'm not talking about Wilder. Wilder, he's just as delusional in victory as he is in defeat. If you notice, I mean, he's just as detached when he wins. Not much that he says is based upon what happened. So I don't take too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's pissed off that he lost. I've lost before and got pissed off. Like, if you think of something that you've ever done one-on-one, like where there's only one platform, you're shooting pool, you fucking get knocked off the table. Yeah, you want to fucking play again, but you got to wait till someone's got next, and you let them play, and then get back in there and try to avenge it, or if you want to call it that. But you can't just bitch and moan and hold the whole table up, and it's just not the order of things.
I got you.
Stupid.
Yeah, all of that bitching and crying is not necessary. But what if you really think Fury cheated? It's just an idea. What if he really deep down thinks Fury cheated? What do y'all say to that?
The same thing.
You know what? I was going to ask that question, but I was going to ask that question in a more practical sense, meaning if they do make a third fight, film everything that's going on in Fury's locker room. Make sure that you got an independent guy in there with a camera filming everything. If they want to kick you out, complain to the commission. Just complain. Because look, Fury did it when he fought Klitschko. Complain about the ring, about the gloves, about this, about that. Wilder's team should do the same thing, man. So that there's no doubt afterwards. Otherwise, it's at this point, if they screw up again and they leave any stones unturned, then it's on them for being unprofessional with all the accusations they've thrown out and not do due diligence on this. Then it would be.
Okay, hold up, Brotherhood. I don't know what kind of shit you smoking tonight, but Wilder ain't no damn ATG. But that must be some real potent shit. I'll give you my email. So you can mail me some of that because that's some good weed you smoking.
Actually,
Goddamn.
Drinking that breathing water again. Brotherhood on the breathing water.
I think he's
Man,
on the.
everybody's fucking.
I think he's on the line. I think I don't memorize numbers, but 949. You're on the air. What's on your mind? 949.
What's up, gentlemen? Last time I was on the line, you guys cursed me off the line because I was talking major SHI, you know what. But I want to say I do appreciate your guys' show. Happy New Year to you, gentlemen. I hope the family's doing well. Now, here I go back to my rant. Look,
Go ahead.
you guys are sitting here saying that how does it work? Wilder can't get a third fight. It was in the contract. That's how things work, bud. Okay? It was in the contract. Secondly, you guys put someone like Canelo on your pound-for-pound list. You guys let him get away with cheating the sport of boxing, which we all love. Say nothing about that. Kiss his ass every single show I listen to, but Wilder, you guys have a huge problem with. Did Fury win the first fight, in my opinion? Yes. Did Fury win the second fight? Obviously. But guess what? There was a contract, gentlemen, and, you know, look.
Bud. Listen, Bud.
Hold on.
Would I prefer to Joshua? Yes, I would.
All right, honey. First of all, do me a favor. Please talk louder because I could barely hear you while you were speaking. Guys, when you call in, please stick to the telephone so that we can actually hear you because we're having trouble hearing people. If you're on, don't use speakerphone. Forget about speakerphone. Now, as to your points, there, Cupcake, you make some good points. Look, if it's in the contract, they should respect it. But the problem is, I'm not a lawyer and I don't know the ins and outs of this whole story, but is the contract for the rubber match still valid? Can somebody enlighten me on this?
No.
I mean, wouldn't Wilder sue his ass by now?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wait. Hold on, guys. Hold on. That's why it was in mediation arbitration because they were trying to see if it would be valid or not. Like we spoke about this before. You know, they could have extended that contract and Fury and them could have had no choice under force majeure, natural disaster or causes, then this automatic right to extend any contract. Like that's a fucking law. So if they utilize force majeure, that's probably why it's in mediation and arbitration. You go through those steps so that you don't take it to court, but that's where it is right now. It doesn't necessarily mean that they didn't violate or that it's not a breach of contract. It could be that, but the thing is, if it's a breach of contract, then it's a civil matter. This is what these fans got to understand. Like, if it's a breach of contract, okay, it's fucked up. Fury didn't fight him. They had a contractual agreement. However, it's a civil matter. So the most Wilder can do is keep boxing or take him to court. That's
the
it.
point, dude. That's the point. So force majeure. There was fights going on during this time period where the time expired. There were fights going on at the time in question. It's not force majeure if you're able to have the fight. Force majeure is you're not able to have the fight, and they were able to have the fight.
No, they weren't because not the elements that they wanted to have the fight. Plus, Wilder had the injury, and then the pandemic happened during the deadline. So, like, if you got a deadline that happens during the pandemic, then that's gonna fall right under force majeure. Pretty much is why it's in court. If it was cut and dry, they would have just said, "No, you have no case." Well, I mean, arbitration mediation piece. That's before you go. Like, if they can't settle it there, it can go to court, and they'll most likely accept the case. But they're trying to prevent that, right?
Okay, so caller, what do you think about that then? And are you aware of whether the contract right now is still valid? Because I don't know. I'm seriously asking here.
No, that's why I listen to you guys to get all my information. Okay.
Oh, then you shouldn't do that.
One of the most reputable boxing podcasts doesn't even know. That's a goddamn shame. Okay.
First of all, if you're getting your Tinkerbell, if you're getting your information from this show, you're doing a serious mistake, man. This is a public opinion show. This ain't CNN. We're not giving you the breaking news over here.
He gave the information. He said it was about it's about
one of my favorite shows. I don't know who you are, but don't talk shit about BDS. All right.
There you
Even
go.
though I secretly disagree with 99% of the things you guys say, I still love.
Oh, come on, sugar tits. How are you gonna play me like that?
99%.
Hey, call me brown sugar, okay? All right, let's get that straight.
That's right. You're
Now,
getting me
look,
all hot and bothered
I
over here
agree
with that voice.
That's a good point. But look, Canelo, take him off your pound for pound. That's the last thing I got to say. He's a cheat, and once a cheat, always a cheat.
Well, recognize you have made it no secret that you dislike Canelo. What do you think? Do you agree with the caller?
Same here.
About Canelo, I mean,
Yeah.
if he's saying that we fanboying for Canelo, he's wrong about that, obviously.
Well,
Bro,
there you go.
yeah, you don't listen close enough.
Canelo is a fucking fraud to me.
All right, listen, Sandra. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
God bless you guys, and I'll call back to talk some shit in a week or two.
Fantastic. Take it easy and do not rely on us for accurate information. All right, take it easy. Whoops. Okay. There you go. Thank you for calling in. Listen, guys, the number is right there in the lower left-hand portion of your screen, and we also have a StreamYard link. And speaking of StreamYard, we got Guerrero de la Info and Kelmer on there. Guerrero, I'll start with you, man. If you're there, otherwise I'll go to Kelmer. All right. Well, listen. Let's go.
I'll go.
Yeah, Kelmer. This whole Wilder Fury situation. Are you getting a little bit tired of it, or are you still as excited?
Yeah, I'm tired a bit, bro. He's trying to be a party pooper for this undisputed belt. He had his chance, bro, and well, come on, man. Like, if I was Wilder, I'll just wait for those two to go at it, and then I'll get an undisputed shot. But I guess he's upset with Fury right now.
All right, yeah, that seems to be the consensus here so far. Let's see if we get a different opinion. Guerrero, what are you there? Guerrero de la Info going once, twice. All right, he's probably.
Hey, yeah, I'm here, man. What's up? Hey,
what's up? Yeah.
Hey, VDA. Yeah, about Wilder. I'm thinking he's messed up mentally, so he can't even wouldn't be able to.
All right, he dropped out, and it sounded like there was a quinceañera going on in the background there. Somebody's saying, "How can I call in?" The number's right there, man. Left-hand corner of your screen. Call in. If you're in within North America. If not, just
Look
try
on the screen, bud.
If not, try the StreamYard link. All right, hey, Gonzalo, I wanted to ask you something, man, because you're good at going back and forth from the technical aspects.
Hold on, Peter. Hold on, my chest hurts. Hold on. I don't know.
Are you?
You come back to me.
You
My
okay,
chest
dude?
hurts.
You okay?
Yeah.
Maybe it's just indigestion. Yeah, it's in.
Did Mark give you water?
Yeah, it's probably just indigestion, Gonzalo. Just take some Pepto-Bismol or some.
You mean mouth to mouth?
Don't drink that much breathing water. I'm telling you, that shit is.
Hey, BDA, bro,
hot.
did you hear, bro? They have a location already.
Supposedly, Bob Arum says they're working on it and on a date, but he says the chances of the fight happening are pretty strong. I'm talking Fury Joshua, by the way. He says that fight is looks good. By the way,
I heard in the morning they said they found a location already. So I was like, oh, they probably being serious then, you know.
Mm-hmm. And look, it would be a good thing to see that fight happen. And also, the other thing I want to ask you, fellas, is why not let Wilder take a tune-up or another fight and rebuild his confidence? But before we get to that question, let's get to a caller here. 719, you're on the air. 719, what's on your mind?
Yeah, man. Fury full of shit, man. I don't know why y'all believe he's lying ass. After all these years of fucking lying over and over and over. Like, if a cheater is the same, it's not far from a liar. And you know that motherfucker cheated back in the day. You gotta lie to yourself for you to be a cheater. You know what I'm saying? You pretty much lying to yourself. You know you cheating, so for you to win and act like you won fairly and act like you the best in the world after being the fucking cheater, you're basically lying to yourself. So there's nothing.
You don't think he deserves a second chance, bro?
That comes out of Fury's mouth. Now, when it comes to Wilder versus Fury 3, if Fury had intentions on fighting Anthony Joshua immediately after he won, and if he was confident that he was going to win in the first place, then he would have never fucking agreed to a rematch clause in the first place. So now he turning around, he trying to flip the script and act like Wilder let the contract expire when it's actually COVID and the network's pushing back the fight over and over because they want the fight to be in like a venue with the fans, and they just wasn't trying to get him a date. They're not trying to lose no fucking money on a big fight like that, because everybody gonna watch it again a third time, no matter what the second fight was like. People gonna watch that part 3. Probably gonna be.
Look, I agree. I
with
agree
all
with
the glove
Brotherhood.
gate shit.
I agree with Brotherhood. Like, there's some fuckery going on there, but here's the problem. Is Deontay Wilder is full of shit. He's just a look, man. Politics works for you and against you sometimes. He's been the benefactor and he's fucked over quite a few people. I'm talking about Wilder. So he's getting fucked right now. I truly believe to an extent what Brotherhood is talking about. There is some fuckery. There was a third fight going on and they were supposed to fight. But to me, it's hard to defend a guy who's a piece of shit like Deontay Wilder. He's a piece of shit, bro. Like, I'm sorry, I can't stick up for that dude. Yes, there's some fuckery going on here. To me, he deserves it.
To the fight, bro. All Fury had to do to not be in this situation was not sign the fight and have.
Yeah, but he wasn't going to get the fight. He wasn't going to get it.
Whose fault is that? That's Wilder.
No, I agree with you. I'm saying that I agree with you. I agree that he did sign the contract.
That's where it ends.
Right. No, but if you listen to what I'm saying,
that shit is unnecessary.
Brotherhood, if you listen to what I said that there's probably some fuckery to get him out of the third fight so he can fight
I
AJ.
heard that part, and I agree with you, but you adding sprinkles on the fucking cake, bro.
Well, that was because I'm just telling you how I feel. I don't feel bad for him. That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Hey, can somebody ask Brotherhood, why isn't Deontay Wilder suing Tyson Fury if he cheated?
What's up with that, Brotherhood? What's up with that? Yeah, what's up with that, man? He know he ain't getting the fight now. So you're not getting the fight. So get your money and get your belt back. See, this is what I want to know, Brotherhood. This is what I want to know from you, Brotherhood. Now, it don't even really matter how long it took Franchon Cruz to get her belt back. But her team knew that Alejandra Jimenez cheated. They knew that. And then they submitted the evidence. And guess what, Brotherhood? She got her goddamn belt back. Now, Wilder can sit here and sell wolf tickets about he doing this because he want to beat him in the ring and his bravado and macho, but you ain't getting the goddamn fight. So if you got your evidence, then do what Franchon Cruz did, get your belt back. Now, because what? Let's hear it.
I can answer that, bro. Because Wilder's not a fucking pussy. That's why.
Oh.
He wants to get in the fucking ring and hash shit out like a man's supposed to do. He ain't trying to go to court and win in court. He trying to win in the fucking ring. Now, Cruz is a different story. She just wanted her belt back without fighting this big man bitch again. Like that's her fucking choice, bro.
Hey, Brotherhood. If Wilder's such a big man, when did he fight Povetkin?
Don't talk shit about the callers.
Yeah. That's true.
When did he fight Povetkin?
But now, hold on right quick, because Brotherhood, that don't answer my question. I said if he's not getting the fight, Fury says I'm not getting you. So it's no more being. I just said there's no bravado in it. There's no being macho because you're not getting that fight. So if y'all so confident,
it don't matter what Fury says.
One at a time. Brotherhood, let him finish. Go ahead, D.
Listen, you know he cheated. We know about the contract. That's a civil matter. Take it to civil court. I'm talking about the belt. I'm talking about this cheating nonsense that y'all keep clamoring on about. If you got the proof, you know he cheated, take that to court because you're not getting the fight. The man says he's not fighting you. No need to keep crying about a contract. Talk about this cheating nonsense y'all keep clamoring on about. Take him to court.
Well, guess what? We in the middle of finding out if the fight gonna happen or not. Just because Fury said it's not gonna happen doesn't mean it's actually not gonna happen. That's why they're in mediation, right? Now, if we find out the fight's not happening for sure, then maybe Wilder will go to court. You got to give it time, bro. This shit's still developing.
All right. Now, can I ask, Brotherhood, I'd like to ask you something. Let's say the third fight happens and Wilder does what he was supposed to, what, you guys are saying he didn't do in the second fight. Is he starts to look into Fury's locker room, doesn't leave it, sticks to him like white on rice, and really makes sure that there's no shenanigans going on. How does Wilder beat Fury? Like, what can he do to prevent Fury from walking him down?
Knock his ass out.
Throw the fucking kitchen sink at his ass. Like, he didn't look right in that fight, bro. Wilder usually start off pretty slow, but he looked like a whole different fucking fighter that night. So I don't expect to see that twice, especially when you pissed off. Like, I think Wilder would come in this fight, and you know how Fury was headlocking him and rabbit punching. I really think Wilder not really coming to win this fight. I think he coming to get disqualified. I think he's gonna fucking elbow Fury. He gonna headbutt him. He gonna do everything he could possibly do illegal. I don't blame the man. I don't blame the man.
Wilder looked that way because Breland drugged his water, right? That's why he didn't look the same. Motherfucker, I eat 3 motherfucker what? Is that why? Is that why he didn't look the same? Because Breland drugged his motherfucking water?
Don't drug his fucking water, man.
Hey, I don't know. I can't confirm that, but that is a conspiracy that's out there.
All right.
That's not what happened.
You can't trust them quiet motherfuckers. Mark Breland look like he'll sneak up on you or poke you in the.
Why would Mark Breland do him in like that? Why would he do that to him? Why would Brotherhood? Why would Breland do that to him?
Y'all King said he drugged his water.
But guys, I just heard Brotherhood said that if Wilder goes in the third fight, he's gonna get disqualified. So nothing that Fury does can convince him that Fury is the better fighter. There's always some shenanigans. There's always some hijinks going on.
Well, Fury's a cheater, so I'm not ever gonna give him credit.
Well,
How about
you go.
that? You want some honesty?
That's
You
fine.
want some honesty? Just like I'm never gonna give Canelo credit. I don't care if fucking Canelo reincarnated Muhammad Ali and knocked him the fuck out. I still wouldn't give him credit.
I think both of them are losing a lot of sleep at night because the Brotherhood won't get them.
Does Canelo know that? Does Canelo know that? Is the question. Someone better notify Canelo. Now listen. Now here's the thing though. Let me ask you, Bonafide. Let me ask you a question. If he called him. You guys remember in Blood In, Blood Out? That was the black guy's name, Bonafide, with the pick in his ear. Yo, Bonafide. What's the thing is this? In all seriousness, though, so let's just say that they were contractually obligated, as we stand right now, to the third fight. You know, if they make the fight with AJ, this is Fury. If Fury makes the fight with AJ, Wilder's got the right to his purse. I mean, if it's that rock solid, why the fuck would they even be thinking about making a date? You're not going to know if he's going to go to court or not. First of all, he would have already filed suit. If it's a mediation, it's non-binding and it's in the contract to work out small disputes after the fact. Someone brought up there was a dispute about the back end purse. That's the type of shit that you put a mediation clause in a contract for.
You know, Wilder's acting like Trump. He is.
He really is. No, he really is, and so are his fans.
Really
but let's not.
Now. Yeah.
Yeah. You're totally dead right, but I know BA didn't want me to bring that shit up on this show, but you're exactly right. You're to the T. I can't believe I'm even saying this.
So instead of QAnon, it's WAnon. Wilder and
they cheated. He got cheated. Stop the steal.
Yeah.
Brotherhood, do you want to stop the steal or not? Now listen. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Why would they make this third fight? In all seriousness, you think they make a third fight with AJ? You think they make a fight with AJ if Wilder can basically? You can't stop him from fighting. So they're gonna set up a fight with AJ so that he can give his purse to Wilder.
Let him answer. Go ahead, Brotherhood.
Not that purse.
Yeah, I just want to ask. All right, let's say.
All right, he's not gonna answer the question. All right.
Rob the bank, bro.
All right, that's classic Brotherhood. What is it about you? What is it with you not answering questions, man? Every time we ask you a question, hey, how you doing today, Brotherhood? Well, let me ask you a question. If you were in my situation, would you be doing this like, that doesn't answer my fucking question, man?
Yeah, I didn't need an answer, but
I think the only thing that Fury had an advantage of that was the equalizer to make it look like it was too easy, and people think that he cheated. It's just that he was too big for Wilder. That's it. He's just too big. 275 in that ring. Bro. He was 275 pounds in that ring, man. And he's moving his hands.
He got caught in the second round. So what? What do we
Yeah,
have to
but
talk about
he got
anything
caught in the
further?
second round. It didn't do nothing to him because he could absorb all that shit, you know. And he
No.
saw it coming.
Wilder got caught. Wilder got caught by
Yeah,
another
of course
heavyweight.
Wilder got caught.
We've seen it
All
a
right.
million times in the heavyweight division. He got caught. He never recovered. I agree with I agree with Brotherhood. I'm not going to fuck around. I agree with Brotherhood. He didn't look right when he was walking in. So, I agree.
He was
but
scared.
Whatever. Whatever.
Scared, bro.
I have no idea. But look, the fight
Mark
happened.
Williams don't get water.
Yeah, all that. Something happened, right? Whatever. But the fact of the matter is, in the ring, he got caught, and then he never recovered. Now, egg weights and Breland and all this other bullshit. If it was a robbery scorecard decision, right? Let's just say it was a robbery scorecard decision. That doesn't mean that Fury. That doesn't mean that you. That doesn't mean that you force somebody to fight you again. He's going to fight AJ next because that fight's the fight that anybody would take. It's the proper fight right now for pay, for professional, for boxing. That's the way it works. He'll get a third fight. I believe that Fury will fight Wilder again, but it's just to say that you're going to stop him from doing it, and to say that Fury would take a fight with AJ. It's probably going to be his biggest payday, of his entire career. To say that he would do that only to give it to Wilder and to have his funds tied up in court is ridiculous.
Well, listen. With that being said, Brotherhood, we're gonna move on. Thank you for your call, and of course, as always, we'll be depositing a few shekels in your account for this fantastic transaction. All right, man. Take it easy, man.
Peace, brother. Peace, brother.
Have a good night, man. All right. By the way, shout out to Slugger Sammy, who he's on his third account, I think. He says, F being humble, I'm better than everybody. All right. And he also made a second contribution, but the only reason I won't read a super chat is if it's completely inappropriate, and this one is inappropriate. I don't want to give it the Streisand effect where I say, I'm not going to read it, so everybody goes ahead and reads it, but that's the way I'm going to go with it.
Refund the man's money.
I don't think I can. True. But anyway, shout out. Huh?
Read it.
You gotta read it, BDA. The rules,
all right.
Man.
Listen, the rules. Them's the rules. What you want from me? But I'm gonna do a different voice so that nobody can clip this and say, "Oh, see, the BDA said this word." So hold on a second.
I'll read it.
Oh yeah, you go ahead and read it. Go ahead, Pete. Good idea.
Go ahead, Pete.
Actually, wait a minute. It's better that I do it. I'm Mexican. You're a white guy. So, well, actually, go ahead, Pete. You do it. Do you even know where it is, or?
I'm scrolling up. Excuse me. Don't put pressure on me. Let's see here.
I'm not putting pressure on you. It's the
Slugger Sammy Brotherhood. More like Co. I mean, I'm gonna Brotherhood. More like Coonhood. All right,
Coonhood.
That's what I just said.
All right,
Brotherhood. More like Coonhood.
Don't overact. Just read it natural.
That's what it says.
I know, but like when look, you're the jock. Look, Pete is the jock of the BDA organization, so you don't have to overact it. You just go with it. Like you're the jock guy. Don't force it. Be yourself. Don't push, and just you'll get that line out. All right. Oh, by the way, we got Gonzalo.
Imagine Pete sparring. Don't put pressure on me.
All right, listen.
What did you say?
He said, "Imagine Pete sparring. Don't put pressure on me." Like that's something you would say. Don't put pressure on me, bro. We got official scorecard on the stream. You're official. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, indeed. Official.
Yeah, so
are you tired?
That victimhood left.
What's that?
Thank God that victimhood left.
Okay, come on, man. He's a guy looking for answers, just like everybody else. So, official, what do you think about this whole Wilder Fury thing? I mean, is enough when it comes to this storyline?
Of course, man. Look, I just have two things to point out. First thing, I mean, everybody knows if he was so adamant to fight him, why was he waiting for the contract to expire? Once Tyson said the contract for the rematch expired, that's the moment when Wilder came out from hiding and started talking shit. You know, the second thing is victimhood can talk about Wilder being a man and willing to fight in the ring instead in the court, but the reality is when the rematch finished, when Fury beat him up, every one of them was saying that they didn't want to see the third fight, but they wanted WBC to give him back the belt because Fury cheated.
Great point right there, man. I mean, I guess you can see that from official scorecards comments that this whole storyline is not making a lot of sense. It makes more sense in a Netflix series than in reality. But then again, like they say, reality can be stranger than fiction. We also have the Ghost of Slugger, Sam, on the stream. You're Ghost. Slugger, is that you?
It's me, fellas. It's me. It's the real Slugger.
Listen, Slugger, thank you for your contribution.
Get ready for some comedy.
Thank you for your contribution.
Hold on. You put some respect on my name when I call.
Hey, speaking of respect,
all right. I was a little out of line. All right, don't get touchy with me. I was a little out of line. Don't get touchy.
But Slugger, speaking of respect, man, what's up with that? I mean, I appreciate the super chats and the support, but I mean, what if your father, who doesn't want you to be on the show in the first place, by the way, read that type of comment? You think he'd be proud of you, man? Come on.
Listen, man, he's an old man. He's an old man who doesn't know what he's talking about. Don't worry about him.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
Hey, Slugger. I like to kid around and everything. You know me, I'm fun. But remember one of the 10 commandments, man. Respect your father and mother, man. All right?
And do you know what one of the other 10 commandments is?
What's that?
Well, actually, do you know all 613 from the first Testament?
No, don't hit me with that. Don't hit me with that the tetragram.
How about this? The last time I thought one of you said that I'm going to tie a BDA or Buccio in the basement and recite mafia movies to him. I got a better one. I'll recite all 613 commandments to you. Is that what you want, BDA? Is that what you want?
Recite one of the obscure ones that most people don't know about. Go ahead.
I'll tell you, do not have sexual intercourse with your sister.
That's actually a pretty solid one. That's actually a pretty
solid
one.
No. Listen. I'm all joking aside. I'm not lying. That's one of them. Another one is with your mother. Another one is with your father, with your brother. I'm not joking because before Moses gave all the commandments, all the laws, people were actually doing that. That's just the truth, man.
Yeah, I'm a fucking bitch.
It's true.
Did you guys want me to get all biblical on you? Because I can do that.
No. Let's go back to AJ and Fury and Wilder.
Yeah, let's do that. So, Slugger, what are your thoughts on Wilder Fury? Are you tired of this saga, or are you as excited as if you were staring at your sister's tits?
You know, if the fight does actually happen, I mean, I would definitely be excited. The problem is we know it's not going to happen, and it's actually to the point where it's really, really annoying. Like I don't know how you guys feel, but like for me, it's just really annoying that we can't make these fights that the fans want to see happen. Like we should have had Wilder and Fury. You know what I'm saying? Like, sorry. No. My bad. I messed up my words. I mean, we should have had Fury and AJ. We should have had Joshua and AJ. Sorry, now I'm saying Joshua and Fury.
I thought you said you were all right, Spider. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, but you know, I mean, if it happens, man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna be super excited. Like that's definitely a fight I want to see. But I mean, I think it's kind of obvious it's not gonna happen, right? What do you guys say? You think it will happen or what?
Nope. Fury ain't fighting him, man. Listen, man.
AJ?
Fury. No. Oh, you talking about? Oh, you don't think AJ and Fury happen?
I think it's gonna happen next.
I thought you were talking about Wilder and Fury.
No, because the reason I say that, the reason I say it's not going to happen is because it's like it's the same shit with Spence and Crawford. Like, I think one of you the other day was asking, you guys were like, how long have we been asking for this fight? And I remember as early as 2019, January, February, right around the time Pacquiao beat the shit out of Broner. I remember we've been asking for Spence and Crawford. And I mean, here we are 2 years later, and it looks like it's never going to happen, right? So that's why I don't think that fight's going to happen.
Okay, so you don't think Fury and AJ is going to happen, is what you're saying, to be clear, right? You have doubts that fight's going to happen. Fury and AJ.
The only difference here is
Because
that
if
these
you
two
guys
guys are
remember,
loaded. They're
you
loaded
remember,
slugger. They're not like
Gonzalo,
Crawford
go ahead.
Spence where these guys got money in the hundreds of millions. They're gonna start doing it for their legacy. I think this fight will happen. It all dependent on the second strain of the COVID because England is locked down right now. So Bob Arum says 95% that it's gonna happen, but it just might happen in the United States and Dallas if it does happen.
Yeah, and another thing is those guys are in agreement. Spencer Crawford ain't in no kind of agreement. Like they already reached an agreement today. They good with the money they getting and everything. So it's a different situation. Usyk is probably the only obstacle at this point.
Yeah.
Usyk's
Let
gonna.
me.
I agree with
Listen.
Gonzalo, but for a different reason. I think he's right, but they're gonna make that
Listen.
fight AJ and Fury
Listen,
for
fellas.
the
I
money.
don't want to get a
For
little
the
off
money,
topic.
not for the
I don't want to get
legacy,
a
for the
little.
money.
Yeah. Listen, I don't want to get a little off topic, but I'm actually really curious at this, and I don't want anybody thinking I'm a Wilder fanboy, but just with the whole thing that Wilder did have, 5 years worth of defending the WBC. I think it was 10 defenses, right? I want to say, or 9 or some shit.
Yeah,
And just
9 to
because of
10.
the fact he had like a 95% knockout ratio. Again, I'm not trying to boost for him, but do you guys think, let's say he ends his career now, or maybe he has 1 or 2 more fights and he retires? Do you guys consider him a Hall of Fame, or is he just somebody who just boxed and that's it?
See, I judge that two ways. Is he like very good? Is he the Hall of very good? Probably. But the Hall of Fame, like anybody could get into the Hall of Fame, especially boxing.
You think so?
His career's not close to being over. His career's not even.
Arturo Gaddy's a Hall of Famer. Arturo Gaddy, look, Arturo Gaddy's a Hall of Famer. If Wilder gets in, I put Wilder in that category.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't even
Okay.
put him in a Turo Gotti category because the Turo Gotti never had 10 title defenses, and I don't care who you defended him against. Listen, man, I do agree with recognize that people of less have gotten to the Hall of Fame, but I think with Wilder, it don't really matter what we consider him. He's gonna go in the Hall of Fame, fam.
Right, but you won't look at him as like this all-time great. Like
Nah,
his
he's no
era.
ATG, bro. Brotherhood
Yeah, that's
said
what I
that
mean.
dumb shit earlier. He ain't no damn ATG.
Let me
Yeah,
tell
so
you,
like
man.
once you become a champion and you defend your belt a couple of times, you kind of almost automatically get in. But he's not going to be mentioned. I agree with D. Like he gets in, but he ain't going to be like
Yeah,
All time goof.
he won't be in the conversation like within the next 3 years after he retires. They might put him in way later because all this drama. He wasn't really that popular before until he fought Fury. Then he lost that second fight. The first fight was a draw. Then he really became like really popular for some reason amongst a certain sector of the fans. But really, people didn't even know who he was before. He might get in, but not after 3 years.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. By the way, let me get some new guy here on the stream here. Delta, are you there?
Yes.
How you doing, man? What's on your mind?
Very well. How about you guys?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic, man.
That's cool.
Shit.
Oh shit! This is like the first time I do this. I listen to you guys from time to time. I don't know. I just go through streams and stuff, but this is the first time that I'm actually on air. It feels weird.
Well, it's not as weird as Slugger when he's with his sister. But go ahead, Delta. What do you think about this?
I see. So you guys are talking about the Fury Wilder fight, correct?
That's right.
I see. Man, I don't know, man. This thing has been quite a show, I would say. Like a comedy, when you see both fighters and where they come from, it's two completely different mentalities, I would say. Fury is, he's like a very sharp individual. I see him, like his mind is very quick. Similar to Muhammad Ali, I would say, in a different way, different eras, of course. And then Wilder, man, his psychology, I kind of understand it because I am familiar with it. It's like the Southern American psychology. And it kind of mirrors like what's happening right now in the country. I would say, in a sense of self entitlement, and a bit of delusion. I know he's like a megalomaniac, and most fighters are to some extent. They have a very intense ego in order to do this. But when you mix this with delusion, it's just hard to control the outcome. And I think his career has been guided very poorly. It's kind of sad to see this, but it's not the first time that you see this happen in the sport. Throughout history, we've seen all this abuse of fighters and stuff. But now I think it's more difficult to do this, because he had the opportunities to make a lot of money. But I just think he believed his own hype, and he kind of got lost in it.
Well, what do you guys think about that? Like, was in retrospect, Wilder? We don't know if he's gonna fight again or not. But if he doesn't, what's his legacy in terms of promotion gonna be? Like, was he like this guy said? Was he mismanaged? Did they not take advantage of the potential that was there with a huge puncher like Wilder? Or what do you fellas think?
Wait, BDA. Let me address the caller. This new caller guy. What's your name, by the way? What's your name?
You can call me Mr. D.
Mr. D.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're
This
already getting
conversation
called out
is
again.
this conversation is really
Hold on,
going
wait a
to
minute.
Hold on. Let me address the caller, Mr. D. Funny ass name. Who are you? Huh? Who are
am
you
I?
to come over here? Who are you to come on here talking about Wilder? This
Sam,
and
shut
Wilder
up.
that?
Let him
And
speak.
it's like,
This is
who
going to be a
are
good
you? Who
conversation.
are
I
you?
can tell. Can you
Yo,
open
Shut
up?
up.
Who are you? What have you done?
The way I
I
see
think
the
BDA asked the
sport,
question.
What have you
Slug.
done? Hold on. I'm not done asking you the question. What have you done in boxing? Coming on here
I,
questioning Wilder.
I've done. I appreciate the sport. I have some amateur experience.
Oh,
In other words,
Amateur
he would kick your ass.
Yeah,
Is what happened.
I
Beat
do.
your
But
ass,
what I
brother.
appreciate
He'll
of the
beat your
sport is
ass.
more
Oh,
the
this guy's
psychology.
cracking me up.
What it does to the individual. That's how I see the sport. Like I see each fighter separately, and they all have a similar psychology. Because they're all fighters, but their
Listen, you
psychology is
just
also
came.
shaped by their
You
environment.
just came on here.
This stuff.
You just came
Hang
on
on a
here
sec.
calling
Hold
Wilder
on.
hold on.
Southern
Slugger,
Tranquility
slugger,
and
slugger,
Wilder.
slugger.
Stu in here.
Slugger,
Because
we
I'm
got some
not getting
It's
bored.
true.
Slugger. Hold on,
Go
Slugger.
ahead, Stu.
Parliamentary
No, go ahead, Stu.
procedure. Go ahead,
What's he
Stu.
doing on it?
Go ahead, Stu.
He called
I
Wilder a
don't
Southern
like it when people.
plantation guy.
Go
Will you
ahead, Stu.
shut
Go
the
ahead.
fuck up,
Go
Slugger?
ahead, Stu. Go ahead.
Seriously, boy, shut the fuck up.
Oh, Stu.
Stu,
You're a
go
fucking
ahead.
idiot. Like.
Stu, go ahead.
Listen,
Yeah.
I don't like
Go
it
ahead.
when people come on and say, "Oh, what have you done in boxing to have an opinion?" Because James Toney and Riddick Bowe, Hall of Famers, yet can't string a fucking sentence together.
Oh, come
so
on.
where are we
Wait a
going to
minute.
go with this? No, but do you have to be a professional fighter that's had 60 odd fights to come on a show and talk boxing? No, you don't, because all of us are proof of that. So Slugger, what have you done in a ring, Slugger? I don't remember you on Box Rec, I'm afraid.
I've done nothing in
Get
the
out of
ring.
here with that.
Listen, Stu, let me answer your question. I've done nothing in the ring. Everything I've done is on the streets. That's why they call me the Slugger. That's why they call me the Slugger.
Hey, this is what we're.
Brother Sam, I want to fight you. Meet me somewhere.
Chain
I want to
snatching.
meet you somewhere
Hold
and
on.
fight you.
Chain snatching.
Listen,
Jive
Somewhere
ass.
between
Monaco
New York and
motherfuckers.
Toronto.
recognize.
BDA.
Listen, I'm a made man.
Meet me
Hold on,
somewhere.
Gonzo.
I want to fight
Gonzalo,
you.
just give me a sec. Come on, Gonzalo. Why do you always gotta interrupt? Give me a sec, fam.
What
Listen,
the fuck is happening to
recognize.
this show?
Yeah.
You're fucking going in circles, man. Come on.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Gonzalo,
You gotta say
new
something to
here?
me. Say it, Sam. Come on.
Hold
Say
on. Let me address. Recognize.
You fucking
I'm a
tripping,
made
dog.
man. I'm a made man. You don't come at made men the way you're coming at me. You're gonna listen. I'm gonna go all the way to
Tripping,
Brooklyn.
dog.
Listen. I'm gonna go
You
all the way
remember
to
what
Brooklyn.
happened to good old Joey Bats? You remember Joey Bats from Orchard Street? You remember him?
Ask about me. See if you ain't
heard. I'll tell you what. The way Slugger's going on, he might have a fucking splotro disappearance himself coming. Do you know what I mean?
Stu,
All right.
I got one question.
All
for
right.
you.
BDA.
Go
Hey,
ahead,
BDA,
Gonzalo. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
Where they made the mistake was, you had the raw talent and Deontay Wilder, a puncher that started late. They put a guy like what's the Mark Brilliant, the gold medalist. Yeah, he was a good amateur, good professional, but he was kind of like, his demeanor's kind of quiet. Then you got the other guy who's a novice in training, the guy that owns the gym. So they just should have put him with somebody with better energy. They would have picked a better training team like Teddy
right.
Atlas,
Yeah, that's a
and
good
try to
point.
get away from from that one trick pony. He got the power, and try to teach him some skills where he can utilize the jab. You don't have to put like a whole arsenal of punches together. We see with these powerful heavyweights, as long as you can land a 1-2 and tie up and do some sort of like that, because these guys are tall, you can be successful. But he didn't do that.
But
Yeah,
Gonzalo, those are some excellent
I agree
points.
with that, Gonzalo.
Those are
I
some.
think sometimes in boxing you've got to use your best tools, what you're good at. And look, Klitschko was a prime example. It was usually the 1-2 and the hold. And Klitschko had to hold and grab in the middle, make it messy, because he had no inside game whatsoever. And that's what you got to do. You have to try and avoid situations where you're not going to do well in. And when, like Klitschko, that's in the pocket. So he keeps it at range. 1-2. I like sometimes boxing can be simple. I hate it when I hear these trainers in the corner just rambling on for like the whole minute, telling them to do about 50 different things. I mean, let's be real. When you're getting punched in the face, you can barely remember one. So too much information. And there's too little in other camps. I mean, it's just that's why I don't really think that boxing has many world-class trainers. You could probably pick five world-class trainers out there, man. Like I said, there's a lot of trainers out there that's got no business in the boxing ring.
Yeah, but Gonzalo, I was going to ask you, man, based on what you said that, they could do this, they could do that. The guy's in his mid-30s now, Wilder, that is. Is it fair to say that in boxing, some guys get it and some don't, and that at this point, Wilder doesn't appear to get it? Like, would it be fair to say that?
I think that's fair to say, BDA. Thank you. Yeah, he seems very receptive to advice.
He could get it, but he's kind of a hard head. He's kind of a hard head, and you need someone that's got more energy than Mark Breland, because he's kind of a patient, quiet, humble dude. I mean, and the other guy's a novice, where he's not drilling the information that he needs to do the practical, simple things.
It's all well and good shouting, but if it's nonsense you're shouting, it's no fucking good to anybody. You know,
he's got to drill it to his brain, though, right? Because he's kind of a hard head.
Yeah, hang on a sec. Gangster in the chat saying Klitschko had an inside game. I'd like to ask you panel members, one fight you've ever seen Klitschko in the pocket training?
He would
I don't
grab.
remember one. I mean, what inside game is this guy talking about?
Yeah, he just
you
grabbed
can't take when a guy calls himself gangster, you know what you're dealing with.
Stu, he's talking about the clinch game.
That's not inside boxing for me. Look, holding is not an inside game. You can't win a fight by holding for 36 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
Let me tell you, I've always said it, man. If I would have been one of Klitschko's past opponents, I would have taken him to court for sexual harassment, because that's what he did in the ring. It was sexual assault through and through, man. The guy would
remember the Povetkin fight. I mean, he basically fucking
man.
He molested him, everything.
This guy would set up clinch. He would set up feints for the clinch. He would feint to get into a clinch. That's the first time I've ever seen that in boxing, or that I've ever seen it. This guy was.
I'm a feint the clinch.
Listen, these fucking guys in the chat tell Andre Ward. I mean, look, all right then. I tell you what, go into a fight and hold for 36 minutes to see if you get the win. That's not work to me. I'm on about work, throwing punches, even defensive work. Holding is probably it's the worst rule in boxing. How many times have we watched a fight where holding has ruined it? I mean, any of you guys that sit there and try and convince me that holding is an inside game, fuck it.
Well, it won Mayweather the fight against Madonna in the second fight, bro. He held him like fucking 100 times.
Yeah.
Let me get the official score.
Mayweather's not winning the fight by holding him though. He was
throwing punches. Yeah.
Let me get official scorecard boxing in here. Official, you're a boxing purist. What do you think about clinching?
Well, I hate it. I mean, I regard it very similar to the way fighters are running away from the fight. So I do think that Loma made a great point about his fight against Lopez by saying, Lopez saying I was running, but at the same time, at the second half, he was clinching. So the same way I see it as negating the fight, refusing to fight. So yeah, I hate it. There is a way, to fight, how do I say, fight dirty, fight on the inside, not by fighting the illegal way, but to fight on the inside. You can not clinch, but it's a fine line in between how you fight on the inside, but yeah, pure clinching just to refuse to stop somebody from fighting. I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing about Deontay Wilder is he does have a good one too. But he's always trying to go for the knockout. For a tall, gangly guy like that, if you're putting a lot on your shots, you're gonna lose your positioning. You're gonna lose your boxing form. And we see that when he throws those wild punches. If he could just use that 1-2 and keep it boxing where he's throwing
Yeah.
that the knockout will come. But just keep it, where you're not loading up on your shots and get into a flow where you're practicing your footwork and you're throwing your punches with form, and the knockout will come.
Yeah, I think the problem Wilder's got, why you don't see many hooks coming from him really, is it's usually the right hand he's trying to land, because the hooks are just technically terrible. I mean, they're like clotheslines, if anything. They're just not. His feet are in the wrong place as well, so he's just not got the right balance to throw them sort of shots. So the only time he looks comfortable is when he's throwing the straight shot, and that's for me. That's what I do with Wilder. I mean, don't
Can
try
I say
to
something?
complicate things. Don't try and complicate things with Wilder. I think you got to keep it simple to what he does good. Get him using the jab better and just following through with the right hand. That's all he can do.
Delta, go ahead.
If you had that,
well, hold on. Go on.
So
go
you
ahead,
guys are
Delta.
talking about Wilder. Well, I think the reason why he doesn't have any hooks is because he has a recurring, especially a left hook. He has a recurring injury on his left bicep. I believe he injured on his last fight, and he had a previous injury where I think he got when he fought Ariola.
Yeah.
And that's why he doesn't have that hook, because in order to have a strong hook, especially a left hook, you have to have a really good bicep. And unfortunately, that happened to him. So I don't see him developing a strong hook.
But then how far does this injury go? Because even when he was fighting a steel target in Steve Vern, he wasn't throwing
when
left
you
foot.
looked at the last fight, it looked like his bicep detached, or like it split from the bottom, because it kind of like crawled up. I don't know if you guys remember that. But
Listen,
that's what happened.
I know a thing or two about detached things, because in the industry there was a guy that detached. He had a pulled groin while performing, and it sucks. It really sidelines you for a good couple of months. But with Wilder, though, like I said, even since the beginning of his career, he's a slapper with hooks. With his hooks, he slaps. So maybe that's why he gets injured. By the way, when he throws hooks, because his techniques whack. His
hand, you can see why his hands break, because he's not turning his punches, he's not turning his gloves, and it's sort of slapping with them. So, and that's how you break hands. I mean, I don't understand why these Wilder clown fanboys are trying to convince me that Tyson Fury could punch with his hand sticking out the glove. I mean, it's just impossible to do, and your hand would break in a second punching like that. So this is the problem. Too many guys watching boxing, they probably just don't understand it. It's not even about being in a boxing ring before or not. It's just understanding it. And anyone knows that you can't have your hands out like that and not break them. And why would he do that anyway? He could get a lot more force with having the glove on, I think. Because he's technically he's throwing it better.
Go ahead,
and
Official.
who do you guys see him fighting next?
Official, you want to say something? Hold on, Official.
Yeah, just real quickly, exactly. And plus, take a look at the video that Recognize made on his channel, just how many times Wilder hit with the wrist when trying to throw a circular punch.
And you know what? Yeah, check that out over at Recognize's channel. And the other thing is Steve Cunningham, who was the guy that was accusing Fury of impropriety during the fight. If you watch his fight, just one example, if you watch his fight against Adamek, the first one, he's hitting with his palm a whole bunch of times. So I don't know. Maybe he knows a thing or two.
Yeah.
So maybe he knows a thing or two, and that's why he's fit to comment on that. By the way, I got somebody else on the StreamYard. We got Mini Max Boxing. Mini Max, are you there?
Yeah, what's up, guys? Salute to the panel and chat and everyone watching.
Salute indeed. What's your opinion on this whole Wilder Fury shenanigans?
What up, Max?
Are you getting tired of this?
Yeah, man, I'm getting very sick of the stupid excuses, man. It's disgraceful. The things Wilder says is disgraceful on his fans. And they made him lose lots of money because, understandably so, Fury doesn't want that third fight. And if I was in his shoes, I probably wouldn't give it to him either, some of the slanderous things he said. And the whole glove gate and all that stuff, that's a bunch of BS. We know that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm with you on that one. I've said it before. I'm going to put up my good friend, mentor, and attorney, Rayfield Shapiro. I had a good conversation with him. We talked a long deal about these sort of things. And he told me, look, somebody's besmirching your reputation in this type of salacious manner. you got to do something about it. And there is a legal recourse, although I am not a litigious person, so I would never go down that route unless it was absolutely necessary. But I guess my question to you fellas is, somebody were accusing you of that type of blatant cheating, would you indeed take him to court for defamation or whatever it's called?
Not Fury, but Breland's got a cause. I mean, like, I'm saying no one takes Wilder seriously. So on that note, it's not as if a fighter's going to or a manager's going to not take Breland because they're fearful of him spiking their own water. But I'm just like, only because Wilder's so all over the place.
You know what I'm saying? Bill Henry needs to go ahead and stop playing and bring him around me too. You know what I'm saying? But he done brought him around the best coaches, Cuban coaches.
What's that playing in the background?
Mac Jones, Roy Jones. I mean, he's brought him around the best of the best. So,
what's that playing in the background? What?
I don't know.
Anyway,
but all I'm saying is that Wilder's so all over the place. He wants to be pregnant. He's out for he's going to be out for 2 years because dude, you can't make if you made a list of all the shit that Wilder said over the years, you'd probably have him committed, not to a boxing ring, but to a psych ward. So the fact of the matter is, I don't think it's going to affect Breland that much because you look at a guy like Mark Breland and he seems like a pretty straightforward.
I thought Breland was
one at a time, fellas. One at a time, fellas. Yeah.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying though is,
you're talking about Breland. What's he talking about Breland for? He's sacked. I don't get it.
But
no, I'm saying no. You're talking about slander. We're talking about slander. Wilder accusing people.
Oh, okay.
And I said I don't think Fury's going to sue him over. Fury considers it promotion for a fight later on down the road. Anytime Fury's name's in the, this is just a fighter talking. He can't accept his loss, and he's going on and on about his egg weights. He'll fight him for a third time later, but Breland, on the other hand, is that's ridiculous
Deontay Wilder waited for the contract to expire before he started opening his big mouth again. The guy is a complete fraud, and if I was Tyson Fury, I wouldn't even entertain the guy on Twitter, never mind fight him again. Listen, this guy has made a mockery of boxing. He's been the laughingstock of the last 6 months, and I saw a stream earlier. I don't know where. It might have been Dante's boxing or something. I went on his video, and they're all sitting there talking about this third fight that Fury's a coward. He's ducking. And I'm like, what planet are these people on? Fury just destroyed this guy for every second of every round. Yet he's going to be scared to go in there with that fraud. And let's be real. Wilder, he held that belt hostage for 10 title defenses. Like I said, that's you can say about he deserves to be in Hall of Fame for 10 title defenses, mate. Look at who he's fought, man. When are we gonna start giving fighters credit for good opponents instead of just settling for rubbish? I mean, what has this guy done?
That's right.
No, what has this guy done to be in the Hall of Fame? Name what? I don't care who's had that belt. That WBC belt is about as useful as the Louis Vuitton belt on my jeans right now. So it don't mean shit, right?
You gotta be right in front of him for him to.
He fought one world-class fighter and got his ass whooped for fucking 19 rounds. Get out of here, man.
You want to hear real proof? You want to hear one word, like one sentence that proves that Wilder is not even close to the Hall of Fame? His second best win is Bermain Stavern.
There you go. That just says it all right there now, doesn't it? Now, I also want to mention something else, man. Doesn't JD's Wilder's trainer, and I'm going to put this up on the screen and you guys on Discord can see it. Doesn't he look like Jim Brewer, the stand-up comedian? I mean, look, there's JD's and there's Jim Brewer. I mean, they're the same person, I think. You know what? Where's Brotherhood when you need him? Because I think they're clones. I sincerely believe that there's some cloning plant going out there, and these guys are the same. Somebody's playing psyops on us. Now, speaking of psyops, I have an interesting comment here from. Now, hold on a second. Where is it? This is again from the message boards here. Hold on a second. Give me 2 seconds. This is. All right, so this is The Big Cover-Up is the guy's name over at Boxing 24. And he says, Fury is the greatest prima donna fraud, and conman in boxing history with a sense of entitlement that knows no bounds. Fury is the same lunatic that tried to argue gloves with a 10-year reigning champ in Vlad. Fury is the same lunatic that felt that he won a fight against a 5-year reigning champ by running and slapping for 12 rounds after getting knocked down and out 12-second count against Wilder, crying that he was robbed. Fury is a lunatic that cheated twice against Wilder, and he says he will never fight him now. Newsflash, Fury, when people see you, they don't see a gypsy. You have to tell them that you are a gypsy, otherwise they would not know. By 2022, this bipolar lunatic crackhead will be gone from boxing forever. And it goes on like that. But what do you fellas think about that?
Who was that? Who was that said that? Who was this person?
Boxing News. Boxing 24.
It's some guy in boxing.
He's attacking his heritage. Many people, you can see them and you can't really tell where they're from just by looking at them. That's kind of like racist, man.
Yeah, I mean that's you could argue that. Yeah, I mean
like, you fucking geek. I mean, like nobody knows where you're from. You geek looking motherfucker.
Like when people
calm down. Recognize I'm here in the Philippines, but I'm Mexican.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you're a geek. I'm saying Shelly Finkel. That would be my response.
That's not Shelly Finkel, by the way. That's Pete's joke that he made, but it's some guy on the internet. That's what it is, man. And
okay.
But you're right. I mean, it's look. People like to talk tough on the internet. You never know who's being serious anymore.
Yeah, but that guy's a fucking dipshit. I mean, look. If you look at the two build-ups to those fights with Wilder's the only one that's making it about race. No one else would. Fury put that.
He's a bitch. That's
it was the Americans bringing because where's the Americans? They're obsessed with fucking race, aren't they? Everything's got to be a race with them. Why couldn't this just be a fight between two world-class warriors? No, it's the black versus white. Wilder comes out with that fucking chump rapper chatting all sorts of nonsense, and he showed us what this was all about.
Well, no, wait, I got to disagree with you, Stu. He was better than Wilder that night. The rapper.
Yeah, he wasn't that bad.
Well, that's like saying cat shit's better than dog shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You remember in the mid 2000s when they would have rappers like Ludacris and all that over at shows like Ellen and all that, where the audience was mainly middle-aged white women, and the rappers would go there, and then they would tell they would tell the audience like, throw your hands in the air, and you see all these middle-aged people throwing their hands in the air. That was cringe, man. That was cringe, and this.
That was the death of hip hop right there. Started to die.
There you go, man. And by the way, shout out to.
I've never seen an episode of Ellen. But listen, I must say this.
You gotta calm down, Pete.
The thing about Fury is the motherfucker can promote a fight. Now he's good. He's impressed me. I'm not a fan of Fury in the ring, to be honest with you. I mean,
me neither.
The Klitschko fight, honestly, it was kind of a just Fury in general. Never really in the ring is not my type of thing. But the son of a bitch can promote a fight, and that's important when you got a guy like Wilder who he's just saying all kinds of shit. It's inappropriate. The goddamn, every interview is so fucking erratic. He won't take his mask off for the first fight. During the weigh-in, you couldn't even hear what he was saying. He's screaming.
He was already appropriating.
He wants to get pregnant. He wants to kill people. He's all over the fucking
Now, I do
place.
believe, I think Recognize mentioned something at 270, the Fury that showed up in this second Wilder fight. I think he figured out the weight. If he comes in like that, I think he can put together where he's a boxer puncher and be exciting. I think I believe this, that he figured out the right way to come into the ring from now on.
Yeah, this is it. I was calling out for Fury to be like that, like he was in the second fight. I was calling out for his whole career. I can probably name one fight I've enjoyed. No, two fights I've enjoyed of Fury, and that was probably the Wilder fights. The rest, I'll just put it this way: I didn't watch him again. Let's just say that. And I think a guy with that sort of size, and when especially when he went to the Kronk, I just thought this could be the best thing that's happened to the weight. All right, he was still making mistakes. It looked sloppy at times, but when he was coming for, because it's a new style to him, but he looked a lot better fighting like that than he did fucking prancing around on the back foot. Flipping out the jab.
Wilder did keep his mask on in the first fight. That was in 2018. He was ahead of the curve, keeping his mask on during the weigh-in. That he knew. See, that's how smart a businessman he is. He saw this whole pandemic thing coming from a mile away. Also, want to give a shout out. Come on, I would.
To Steve's point, in that first fight, when Fury did just I think it was like in about the 7th round. I don't know if it was just he decided to stop moving take a break for a second, but when he just sat down on his punches in the first fight, it wasn't a big event where he stunned Wilder or anything, but he very easily landed two punch combinations.
Wilder. He was
That's what I'm saying. In other words, if you notice in the 7th round, I remember watching that and easily, like right through his guard, just
this time he just decided to follow through it, Pete. That's all he did.
Well, I'm just saying. Now that's probably not the time. That's probably not the time to change your entire approach to the fight. In other words, if you're gonna fight in Fury style, now's not the time to be fucking to be Lennox.
I mean, he shined because Wilder's not a great boxer. Now, if he fights Joshua, he's gonna have to come in with a different game plan. I don't know what kind of problems Joshua will present. But Joshua's a better boxer.
He's gonna fight Joshua like he did against like he's fought every other fight in his life. He just let me ask you this question.
If he goes in there with that game plan like he did against Klitschko, he's getting knocked the fuck out.
Before we continue on that, shout out to Truth's son in the super chat, and he says Wilder needs to be in the halls of pregnancy. Shake my head, Slugger Sham. Please meet recognize, please. Oh, so he wants somebody wants Slugger Sam to get slugged. Also, shout out to Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talk who said, where's he? Hold on. He said, Stu is speeding heat. So shout out to Mark from Unrivaled Boxing Talk, and shout out to Stu for speeding said heat.
My bro? Yeah, I look, I like to keep it real, don't I? I'm not here to pander to fucking boxing fans because boxing fans are the fucking probably some of the most corniest people you'll ever come across in your life, and I'm not here to pander them to stroke their egos. I'll keep it real. Tyson Fury, as much as Tyson Fury is a world-class fighter, the best heavyweight in the world for me, very rarely I've been excited for one of his fights. This is why he wasn't selling in the UK, because he does everything else well. I mean, his mouth, he talks well. He's an exciting character, and then he'll get in the ring and stink the joint out.
That's true.
So, as we go Wilder, I mean, I'm glad Wilder's not getting his shot.
And by the way, Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I'm glad he's not getting his shot. He deserves.
When I like Tyson Fury when he's mad because he becomes vicious, and I've seen it happen outside the ring, inside the ring. I seen it. He did it to what's his name? What the fuck? The guy that Usyk just fought.
Chisora.
Yeah. Chisora was getting crazy with him. He smacked Chisora in the face. He's like, "You better calm the fuck down." He told her, "You better calm the fuck down. I'll go crazy." And when he got dropped by Alexander, what's his name? The guy that's accusing him. I'm drawing a blank with these dudes' names.
What's the matter with him, man?
When he got dropped by the cruiserweight.
Oh, Steve
Cunningham, right? So beat the shit out of Cunningham. Look, notice the pattern. When he gets upset and he wants to prove something, he usually does, right? He'll do it.
When he starts coming forward and letting his hands go, that's when he gets the best results. Look, I think he had this sort of like Floyd Mayweather mindset, didn't he? Just get the job done with the least damage as possible. But
he ain't gonna get away with that in heavyweight, though, right?
Well, yeah, of course. That's not going to sell Wembley Stadium. That's not going to sell. I'm afraid. This is what I'm saying. I think fighters do have a right to put on some sort of show. I'm not saying go in there fight like a Toro Gatti and get knocked out. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, at least, even if you're a boring fight, just let your hands go a bit more. I mean, when I watch boxing, I see some guy just flipping out the jab, hot shotting his way to a fucking points win when he's levels above this guy. Nothing makes me more angrier. Nothing. Because
you don't want to risk.
A lot of boxers are conning a living out of sport. Out of the sport. They're conning a living out of the sport, man.
All right. Well, that's Stu's opinion. He says he will not pander to boxing fans. I am not on the same boat. For the right price, I will pander all night long, man. Hey, listen, everyone's got a price. What do you want from me, man? By the way, speaking of...
You can imagine that envelope going in BDA's fucking inside pocket, can't you?
That's right. Super chat comes through. BDA say whatever you want him to say. He's like a puppet.
Exactly.
Now listen, I will ask this
BDA
question.
was going to say something.
I was gonna read a comment real quick, man, because I think this is more fiery and a little more spicy than what you're about to. You're probably gonna go into the numbers. You're probably gonna get into numbers and shit.
Bible verses. Yeah, Bible verses.
Attention Tyson Fury fans, says a poster over at Boxing Scene. You claim Fury beat Wilder fairly. Most of you, if not all of you, claim he would stop him even easier in the third fight simply because Wilder can't box. Then you say then Fury goes on record to tell you that AJ is an easier fight than Wilder. Now all of a sudden, Fury's not going to fight Wilder again. What the fuck? Why not get that easy money? LOL. We know why. We all know Fury cheated, which is why we wanted to see a trilogy. Thank you for cheating, Fury. This pain has made Wilder evolve into a complete monster, the greatest heavyweight fighter of all time. I feel sorry for all of you who face Wilder. They shall pay. The best fight of 2021 will be Wilder versus Joyce.
Ooh, we're scared.
Is that guy
I'm
gay?
I'm shaking in my boots right now.
That's a good statement.
That statement is scary. Like
There's a manifesto. I will say this. I have a question though. Along the lines of what he said, let me ask you a question. Along the lines of what he just said and what Stu said, let me ask that guy a question. How much did I know he came in to the second fight? Fury came in 270 something, right? Okay. At the first fight, what was he? 250, 250,
253, I think.
All right, 250. Let me ask everybody a question. If he had caught Wilder with that same shot that he caught him with in the second fight, in the second round that started the damage, right? When Wilder pulled straight back, dropped his guard, and he got clipped. If he had caught him with that same punch at 250 or 240 or 230 or 270 or 300, or whether he had an egg weight in his hand or not, or whether he had a pillow on his hand, do you think it would have made a difference?
Yeah, because look, he caught him with that same punch in the 12th round. After he got off the canvas, he was more depleted and he was tired, and he was still able to put him on shaky legs. So this was just a continuation of the 12th.
No, Wilder was exhausted because he has no control over his range or his tempo.
And emotions.
As soon as he gets somebody halfway hurt, he dives in like a fucking maniac with no regard for range ever.
Yeah, but Gonzalo right, bro, because I just broke this down on the live the other day. He wasn't that way either, Pete, because if you remember, he just hit him with the right and caught him with that left going down. So he didn't have to do the windmill and all of that shit. Then he backed up doing this little shimmy because he felt like he had him, knocked out. So it wasn't like he drained himself for that knockout. But when Fury got up, he rocked his ass, bro. He rocked him, and Wilder fell into him and kind of hugged him up. And then that's why Wilder couldn't finish him. He couldn't attempt to do the windmill because Fury rocked his ass. And Fury knew in that 12th round, he was like, holy shit, I didn't know if I hit him, I could get that type of response. That's why he went back to the Crunk Gym. He said, let me go revisit these boys. They're good with that mean attack. He went back to the Crunk Gym, came back and beat the shit out of Wilder, and he'll beat the shit out of him again.
Oh, with the language on you. But by the way, shout out to Unrivaled Boxing Talk, who says, let's test the hypothesis. Mr. BDA, stroke Stu's ego, please, and thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for the contribution, Mark, and thank the gods because Stu just left at the right time, so I cannot stroke anything of Stu's. But shout out to Unrivaled Boxing Talk, shout out to Mark. Let's get the people here in the StreamYard because we're working on two devices at the same time, so it's kind of hard to coordinate here. But guys, what do you think? Let's say the fight happens. Theoretically, third fight. That's what we're discussing here. Official, what can Wilder do to change the tide and really do beat Fury? Is there a chance for him?
Well, look, there is no reason to think too much about it because Wilder is what it is, and he's a very limited fighter. So it's not like he has many options for what he could do against Fury. I would say I wasn't really thinking about the answer to this question, but I would say he should try to be the one who's gonna keep the range and use his footwork to always keep the range in order to have a possibility to possibly land that right hand.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I really haven't thought about it.
All right, yeah, it's a difficult question. I agree, man. Though it's we're as boxing fans, we got to explore all avenues here. Delta Bravo, what do you think?
Talking to me?
That's right, Delta Bravo. Go ahead.
Oh,
Delta Bravo.
Delta Bravo.
Charlie Tango.
So I think I don't know. I mean, Wilder. Wilder is Wilder, but he has to. If he wasn't injured or like, I don't know, he has to develop his lateral movement, his left hand, especially his jab and that left hook. He has to develop his balance. He has to find a way to turn Fury when he's coming in with a double jab, trying to turn him and then like hook him on an angle. I would say on the right side, but I mean I just see this very. He has to change trainers and he has to get with someone that knows the Kronk style. And I was gonna say Jonathan Banks, but due to what he said about Sugar Hill, I don't think who is he gonna find and what he did with Mark Breland. Like he needs to find someone who really knows this style, plus studying Fury from before, because Fury is a fighter who adapts, on the moment depending on of his opponent. But I see it very difficult for him to change, especially he needs to do like some kind of tune-ups or something to try all these.
And BDA.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a lot of trainers would train with Wilder right now after the accusations, right? Like, how many guys want to like sign up for that?
I think the Reynosos might take him. Right now, they're taking everybody.
Panama Lewis.
Panama Lewis.
No, Panama Lewis is banned.
Panama Lewis. Hey, but wait. Good points from Official Scorecard and Delta. Minimax, what do you think? Do you got anything? Would you have any solutions for Wilder?
I can't hear anything.
Minimax, can you hear me?
You're cutting off.
All right. How about
Yeah,
now?
I can hear you better. Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say something very similar to Official. Keep the fight on the outside and use his range. But one thing he has to do is not let Fury push him back. Wilder looked very uncomfortable on the back foot. He's gonna have to try to force Fury on the back foot. It's a lot easier said than done, but he's gonna have to get Fury fighting backwards. He's gonna have to try to time that right hand, and that's really all he can do, because if he's not gonna land that right hand, he's not gonna win the fight. He's just not that type of fighter.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I mean, those are some excellent selling points right there, man. And I suppose at the end of the day, we can talk all we want about the mediation and the fight and this and that, but at the end of the day, if they do fight, that's what's going to matter in the ring. And the big question is, and that's why I'm asking it, the fucking Wilder do to get a win in here? I mean, he's got that equalizer, that power, and let's
Gotta hope he lands that, and that's it. It's over. Gotta hope that happens. If not, he gets beat 10 times out of 10.
Let's be fair, recognize. Let's be fair to Wilder, because I mean, we talk about how bad a fighter he is. He's off balance, blah blah blah. But how many other guys out there would you favor to beat him, other than Fury and Joshua, for example, or like even Usyk if you want to? But even then, I mean, Usyk, it's like who else can would you guys seriously pick against Wilder with that much confidence?
Not many, but you'd be surprised if some of the guys who I think would beat him. What's L Dog's favorite
Filip
fighter?
Hrgović.
Yeah, I think Filip Hrgović would beat him up. I think unless he gets caught. If he gets caught, it's over. But if it's a boxing fight, Hrgović probably boxes him like 12 rounds to 0. Usyk will beat him. Same thing.
Andy Ariza boxes him, and you guys cannot say that he does.
I don't know what's going on here. All right, I think we're back. Hold on a second, fellas. Can everybody hear me out there?
Yeah.
All right.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Sorry about that, fellas, but internet connection issues. We actually dropped off the air there for a couple of seconds. Let me just recap. Were you guys still talking, or because I couldn't hear anything?
No, we were talking about who besides how many people. You asked the question: how many people would we pick to beat Wilder? And I think there's a few guys, but to be fair to D, he could knock all those guys he could knock them out with one punch, and that's where I would agree with him. But I think a boxing fight, they don't get caught with that shit. I think Usyk schools the shit out of him.
All right, like I said, real quick to the listeners out there, we dropped out for a second there, but we are back now on the air. If you're still listening, by the way, just refresh. Hold on a second. Refresh that shit. There you go. Refresh that
BDA,
shit.
I'll be right back. We'll take a little 5-minute break.
Yeah, I think it's all good, BDA.
Yeah, I think we're back. All right, so carry on, fellas. Because I dropped out.
Knockouts. Knockouts cause amnesia.
But I mean, Ortiz, I think in both of the fights, he was winning the vast majority of the rounds until he got knocked out. My problem with him, he's kind of a sitting duck. He's an old man who was outlanding Wilder, but was sitting in the pocket too long. He was a sitting duck, and he got caught. You can't do that against Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's you can't stand in front of Deontay Wilder, man. That's just bad news. Real quick, let me just reestablish connection here.
Yeah,
Tyson,
I mean, do you think they'll keep him for a third Fury fight or
hey guys,
an AJ? I mean, of course,
guys on the
but I just see
StreamYard.
it very difficult,
Delta,
man, because
Delta. Can you hear me?
I don't know. I think he's very
Delta.
poorly
Oh,
Hey,
handled.
Delta.
You know, when it comes to
Delta.
his
Delta
management.
Bravo,
You can't hear
Delta
BJ.
Bravo.
All right,
Yeah,
fellas, can you hear
BJ
me?
trying to talk.
StreamYard
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah,
can
we
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you.
All right,
Yeah.
sorry about that. We dropped that for a couple of seconds there. Yeah, so the question that then we're talking about is can Wilder do anything to change? And who would you guys really favor against Wilder at this point, other than Fury and Joshua? Like, is there anybody that you guys would
Usyk.
confidently pick against Wilder?
Usyk.
Usyk, yeah.
Usyk, yeah.
Now, let me ask you
The
this,
que-
because people talk about like. Let's start with Delta. Why do you think Usyk? Why are you so confident in Usyk against Wilder?
Well, because Usyk, he's very accurate and he just knows boxing. He knows when to move. He knows his range. He knows how to utilize lateral movement. He knows how to fight on the back foot. And Wilder, honestly, he's pretty straightforward. Like, he's just really good, like, delivering that right hand. But I think once the level of opposition goes, high, like Ortiz, the only reason why he beat Ortiz was because Ortiz couldn't take any punishment anymore. He's an old man. But that old man managed to outbox Wilder most of those rounds that they, were against each other. But I see Usyk, utilizing all these, skills that he has, and as long as he stays away from that right hand, he's gonna be okay. And I just think he's too fast, and he's small too. He can come in small and come in on the inside, and Wilder doesn't know how to fight on the inside as well. So he can do definitely some damage utilizing angles. I just think he's too fast and too skilled. Unless Wilder, of course, lands that right hand, but at the same time, I don't think he can put him to sleep right away with just one punch.
Mm-hmm. All right. Go ahead, Minimax.
Oh, sorry for cutting you off. I was just gonna say I personally think Usyk would also beat Wilder because I think he can push Wilder back similarly to how Fury did. He's shown a granite chin, a fantastic gas tank, as well as a fantastic work rate as well. As I mentioned, he has a chin to take Wilder's shots, and unless Wilder hits him with a perfect right hand, I see Usyk outworking him. And I wouldn't even be too shocked if Usyk stopped Wilder in the later rounds off of accumulation.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Okay. That's an interesting breakdown right there.
I'm not. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What? Where? What? Who has he been hit by to say he has the chin to take Wilder shots? What? Dorticos? Garcia?
Gassiev, yeah.
No.
Gassiev is hella
No,
hurt.
I doubt that. Garcia
Even
and
though
Dorticos showed their power at cruiserweight, fam. Like, look, these weight classes fucking matter. I'm not like bigger guys punch resistance. We can't throw all that shit out the window. Garcia and Dorticos proved their punch power at cruiserweight. This is just like, we talking Wilder.
It's one of his biggest attributes. So, like Matrix said, the problem with Usyk is the last thing he's going to do a zone where Wilder can land that punch. Ortiz, he's also a southpaw, and the last southpaw he fought in Ortiz, he wasn't winning the fight. He was he was laying hands on Deontay Wilder, laying hands on him to the body, to the head. He
Ortiz got
he
slow
pivoted,
footwork,
and he happened to be at the end of a punch. He happened to be at the range, and he got caught.
Yeah.
The same thing I could say too about Wilder. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't expect Usyk to get hit with a shot and just like be okay with that. I mean, I wouldn't want to see his chin get tested like that, by a flush punch of Deontay Wilder. But Deontay Wilder either. I mean, you wouldn't want to see Deontay Wilder get hit with his hands down to see if he could take a punch or not, because I don't believe there's such a thing as a heavyweight chin. Either you have a chin or you don't. At heavyweight, you might have more weight, that you have more fluid surrounding your brain to protect yourself, but either you have a chin or you don't, and nobody's going to take a free punch and just be okay with that. No, you're going to do something to protect yourself, because if you take a flush shot by a heavyweight, you can get hurt, whether you're Wilder, Usyk, or anybody.
Yeah.
Especially on the button. Like that,
But
that
I
shot he
agree,
took in the
like,
Fury second fight. That shot he took in the second fight with Fury that Wilder took on the button that started the whole. It basically was the beginning of the end. Let's just say
you
he
talking
never
about the
really
second
recovered
round?
from it. Yeah,
Yeah.
the shot he caught him with, pulling straight back. Unfortunately, it's. I'm not saying you can't change,
That's a good
but
fight. That's a real.
if Usyk catches him with that same shot, if Ruiz catches him with that same shot, if Chisora catches him with that same shot, he doesn't need an egg weight. You don't need an egg weight. You don't need to
No,
gain 20 pounds.
there's heavier punchers than the three guys you mentioned that cruiserweight than those guys. Usyk hits harder than all three. I mean, Gassiev. You should see how Gassiev ices some dudes. Dorticos, he's got like a 90% KO ratio, 83, I think. He's a cruiserweight. He's 6'3" with 78-inch reach. He's a little less, 74. But he's tough. I'm not saying that he would beat Deontay Wilder. As a matter of fact, yes, I can. But a lot of people are not gonna believe it. You're gonna say you're fucking crazy. How can a cruiserweight with a lot of knockout power knock a Deontay Wilder who's 215 pounds? I know you guys are gonna say that. Some of you guys.
Well, no, I guess we're saying the same things. I don't know why. It's not. I don't know why. Okay, Dorticos too, Gassiev too. If you land on the button, to what you said, Gonzalo, there's no heavyweight chin when you get hit on the fucking button pulling straight back. So that's my whole thing about. It's to all the conspiracy theorists with Wilder. You don't need an egg weight in your hand to get caught on the button and for that to be the beginning of the end. If you pull straight back and put your hands down, which Deontay Wilder does, he always has done it. I'm assuming he always will do it.
That's why I don't even know how you can fit an egg weight into your glove.
I mean, I'm just saying, if he had a perfectly legal glove, set the whatever stage you want, check his glove all you want. If you let somebody get at range, throw coming forward, and you're pulling straight back, and you catch on the button, I'm not saying you're going to go straight out, and he didn't go straight out. Fury's not the hardest puncher in the world, but that was something he could not recover from, and you saw it with AJ too. AJ got cute with Ruiz. Ruiz caught him with the shot, and that was it. It's not an icing, but so in other words, a guy like Usyk can see that, number one, offensively, and defensively, he understands the mistake. You've seen the mistake that Ortiz made. If you stand at the end of that punch, you can get in the pocket all you want. You got to be in or out.
That's right.
Otherwise,
that's the way.
Slow feet on Ortiz, man. He got real slow feet.
Now, Ortiz was 45 when he fought Wilder. But listen, fellas,
he just
we're going to have to end this because the internet, we went out again for a second time. We went off the air for a second time there. So if it happens again, it just disrupts the whole flow of the show. So I got to get this stuff fixed. So we're going to cut it here for tonight. But very good points from everybody. Really good insight into this whole situation. You guys broke it down beautifully. So thank you for that. And we're going to go now, but shout out to everybody who joined us via the StreamYard, Minimax Boxing, Official Scorecard, Delta, Slugga Sam was here earlier as well, Galileo de la Info, Kelmer was in there as well, as I like to call him Kramer, and everybody in the Discord too, everybody that called in, shout out to you fellas, and I suppose we'll catch you on the next one. All right, fellas?
Peace, gentlemen.
Take it easy, fellas.
Peace. I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, no problem. All right, fellas, thank you for joining us. And now, let me read a couple of the people who donated with the super chat. One Foot Out the Door, Chet Collins, Slugga Sam, Truth Son, and Unrivaled Boxing Talk, aka Mark. Thank you guys for your contributions. You guys keep the gravy train rolling and allow us to do all the things that are possible, such as putting the episodes on Spreaker, getting the blog talk for the phone calls, and all that good stuff. Thank you guys for your contributions. Really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody in the chat room, all the viewers. I'm talking about, hold on a second. We're talking Jet Kyle, Chris Ellie. Oh, Jet Kyle, by the way, shout out to you too for jumping on the StreamYard earlier. Jeff Lucieta, Dan Cass, Mr. E, SSB28, Chris LA, Floyd972, Jack Napier, Peter Vonax, Gangsta 003, and many more people. Again, I gotta go, but thank you guys for joining us. Really appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Take it easy out there, fellas. Thanks for watching.